Well, hello. I'm so glad you finally made it. How's it going? I hate the internet. Can I just bitch for a second? I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's inner tornadoes being thrown at me or what. But I'm so sick of having issues with technology. I hate it. Did I mention that I hated it? How are you doing? Oh my god, y'all! I was backstage, just like I am now, except just not live. And then it started glitching, and I was like, "Well, that's not good." And then because before I left record this morning, I was like, "Well, let me restart," because it had to do an update, right? We got to go through my tech problems first, right? And it was I pulled it up an hour and a half before the live. Was good to go until I was not. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I do each time to remember it to do it again. Hey, how y'all doing? Oh, what is today? Monday? Happy Monday. I had a boss that used to say, Happy Monday. She was from San Bernardino, California. I think that's where Lori comes from. Just very happy people. Oh, it took me three. Oh. Jean Marie says it took me 3 hours to get my new printer hooked up to the Wi-Fi. Yeah, there's a standard way to do it. Like no need for phones or laptops, right? Hey, girl. Hey. Yeah, welcome. I'm glad to have you guys here. Thank you for being here. It's been quite a day. Not a total crap one, but it's okay. I don't like I've never been a Monday person ever, or a Tuesday person, or a morning person. You'd like to you'd like to become a member and support your channel. How do I do that? I think you go underneath, like in the description box, and there, or I don't know. I really don't know. Because I'm not, I am, let's see. I don't know if it'll show me from right here. Yeah, no, I will have that for you. Oh, thank you, Jean. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have gotten, I just never share them because I don't know. Like I never, and so maybe we need to talk about that, right? So when you do donate, do you want to be, how do I do this? I don't want to like call anybody out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I've just always just on the down low. It's in the description. Jody P, that's me. Thank you. Um, so let me know how y'all want to, or how we do this, and or when you do like go through PayPal or Venmo or whatever, maybe let me know there, and then I won't share your real name ever. But just your preference. I know. I thought, from what I can remember, yeah. Let's see. Look right here. Yeah, not on the TV. I don't know how to help you. I will usually put anonymous if I don't want it announced. I like that. And so let's set that as the bar, because I do want to acknowledge Granny B. Grammy B figured it out. You go, girl. Welcome aboard. How are y'all today? So, I go, well, before, well, let's see. Um, oh, yeah. So mom told me this morning, before we left to go to the courthouse, she's like, Summer's going to be there. And I was like, why don't you bring her some potato salad? And she was like, anyways, inside joke, you know. Anyway, so, um, when your fingernails are too long and you jab yourself in the eye, right? If you're on your phone, you hit the button thingy. That's me, right? No tech talk. Yeah. Earlier, I went to Walmart to get one of those battery power packs or whatever. Okay. And I had to go get the guy, the worker, whatever. I had to go get the dude to come unchain the damn thing. And he was like, "What is it that you need?" I was like, it's a battery phone charger thingy." And I was like, "Just come on, just come on." And then I was still trying to explain it, and I was like, "I don't even know what I'm trying." Oh, no need to let everyone know. Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. I just didn't want you to miss it because I said it. Yeah, thank you. But that brought that I have been wanting to ask because I was like, I don't know. I just never have asked. And so you just jogged my memory. It happens a lot because I orbit, I jog in a orbit. So you I can taste that tea coming. Crush, bring it, love. Well, and I mean, I don't really know. It was just, I go we go into the courtroom, right? Me, mom, Larry, and um, we're sitting in our normal spot behind prosecution, and there's always, there's a bench in front of us, bench behind us, and then there's like a whole row of a bench. Okie dokie. Oh my god. I just saw red, literally. Thank you. Thank you. I don't even know what to, I mean, I'm just like, thank you. I don't know what to say besides thank you. I know you wouldn't do it if you didn't feel it. I'm the same way. Like I never want like Jean Marie. Like none of y'all aren't like that. We're not like, hey, look at me. You don't do it for recognition. You do it because that's you. That's part of you, and I appreciate that. Big money night, DJ Norman says. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the love and support. Um, Thank you, Trace. Yes, so my moderators are Trace on the case, Beach Bum, and Donna Donald. So, um, we're good. we're doing good. Hey, JLL. Hey, Rowan to you, 1979 ACR. The chat's way ahead. Am I lagging or something? Am I? I am lagging because, yeah, it's whatever. Oh my gosh, there's almost 300 people in here. I guess I better entertain, huh? It's hard. Hey, Heather Strock, how are you doing? Y'all been chatting? Thank God. Thank God. I was like, here I go again on my own. Oh man, it's insanity. But I do try different things, expecting different results. I'm just in better spirits today, AJ. I don't know. It's you guys, really, honestly. Because, yeah, I stopped at Walmart earlier and I used Lyft today. It was a little cheaper. So, but then I forgot my debit card here. I mean, that's what I'm saying, y'all. So I was like, I don't know where my bank card is. And yeah, I still haven't found it, by the way. Anyways, I mean, I checked my account. It's not like being drained or anything, but you know what I mean. It's somewhere. That's what Jason does. He's my memory. Two strokes, and the dude was, me, mom, and Larry and my brother were in the hospital room with Jason, right? Two strokes was still stroking, basically. And so he's laying there and his eyes are closed, and so me, mom, and Todd and Larry are talking because it's very rare that it's just, us in a room, and there's Jason that brought us together. And I'm like, Charles, I always want to say Marilyn Manson, okay? Charles Manson. So I'm like, Charles, and out of whatever Jason was in, it looked like he was conked out, but he was like, Manson. I was like, oh my, we laughed. Like, look at this dude. He is he's a blessing and a freak of nature. Hey, True Crime Sushi, you're here too? And good, lots of phrasing here. Good. Yeah, all in the same. All in the same. I don't deliver the church service I don't deliver the truth like KJ does. Nobody does. She has her own way. It's awesome. I love KJ. Was drawn to her from the beginning. She didn't even know it. I hope we see Jason soon too. Thank you, Fish Face 123ism. I appreciate it. I really do. You're a Ray, mom on the case. Yeah, it's lagging bad. um, yes, he is. He's recovering amazingly well. I'm proud of him. I really am. We've been together 5 years, right? We were supposed to get married the day that Lori, wait, it was, I don't think she got arrested on this day, but it was February 20th, 2020. Because we were like, we can remember that. 02, 20, whatever, 20. And then no. She's been just wrecking shop ever since 2019. But what's cool about this is I really was like, then we'll have Chad's, then we'll have Uncle Charles's, like, is this ever, my stomach just growled? I hope y'all didn't hear it. It's like being in the courtroom and you hear everybody's stomach's growling. Oh, yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Hey, Pops, how you doing? I'm like, because I'm blind. All I want for my birthday is a shot of Botox. I just want to remove the Lori and Chad right here and bring me. I've never been one to be like that, but I'm just like, this is just, it's premature. I'm late for everything. Wrinkles too. I can't be having premature wrinkles. I was like getting gray hairs. I know. I made her a meme once, or not a meme, but a slide. I was actually at Market Basket, which is a grocery store in Lake Charles, and I saw a pickle jar. So I took a picture, and I'm jerkins. It's jerkins, the gherkins, instead of jerkins. Oh my gosh. One night, y'all, I forget what it was. Something that like really triggered me. And I was just feeling, I mean, I'll never be able to find it, but Jen said the perfect thing at the right time. And I mean, I laughed my ass off. I was like, you don't know how much I needed that. Let me see if it'll pull it up. I don't know. We cuss a lot, so it may not. It won't really, it won't really weed them out, filter them out too good. Okay. It's with Jen. It's funny though. I mean, but it's true. Okay, let's see. No, this is May 14th. That's way too far back. Anyways, it was perfect. I don't know. It caught me, and I was just real blase. And then here she came and she was like, oh, I'm looking in the wrong one. Hold on. Anyways, she said something about Chad's a-hole and about some dudes. And I was just like, it was funny. It caught me and I needed it. And I was just like, it's those little things that just help so much, right? They help. I have to laugh because this stuff is insane. It's absolutely insane. So, walk in the courtroom, and I didn't see Summer there, but I saw Lori, and looked like she was a little refreshed for her 3-day weekend in jail, and then Summy walked in, and her husband Jeff, and I met her cousin Christy, or I think, or Kristen. I couldn't hear. And I think it's Uncle Rex is who the uncle is. Whoever that is, I think it's Janice's. I think it's Janice's brother, because I think Barry Cox's brother's name was Jan Cox. You know what I'm saying? How you have a Jan Cox as a half brother? It's life insurance scams, I think. Because I did do a video. I never put it out. It was very early on. And there's this name generator, just like they do in the temple. And so whatever date a couple is sealed in the temple, whatever year, it's just a name generator. So they think they're getting these special names from God, and that way when the husband, or whenever the couple die, and you gotta knock, and then he calls her name, and I don't know. I don't understand that part. No, Janice. No, it wasn't Janice's half bro AJ. It was Barry. Because I have the family tree, because I was just trying to figure out who's who. They had mine, so I was taking theirs. But anyways, and so I remember thinking like, wow, this is weird. It's weird. We'll have to readdress that, because it is something to dive into, because they're the first people at the probate court. I think that's what it's called. So yeah, it was okay. So this in the courtroom today was, I'm pretty sure it's Janice's brother, Rex, but I thought she had a brother named Jason, or where did I get that from? It was something in Melanie Pulowski's, like whenever Stacy died, when her mom died. Yeah, he's a 0, still is 00. To pull her through the veil, but the wives are supposed to learn their husband's temple name. Wait, the husband can know her name, but she can't know his. Well, here's the secret. Because I wanted to know where Chad got Viola from. So I was like, let me put in the date that they went through the temple, right? March 9th, or was it March 9th, 1990? Yeah. And it was Helaman and Martha. So no Viola there, because I'm just like, where are they getting these damn names? They're freaks, y'all. They're freaks. So yeah, and so before I went in the courtroom, Mom, no. Larry was like, I'm gonna go introduce myself. Larry does that. This is what Larry does. Larry is Larry. He's his own. He has earned it, in my opinion. Like I'm just like, do what you do, dude. You've been great. You're top notch. So do what you do. My typical name is Ismail. I was endowed on July 16, 2005. All males endowed in 16th of any month are named Ishmael or is Ismail. I don't know. You can't tell me through here anyway, so have fun with that, huh? They all receive the same new name too. Yes, it's across the board. So it's everybody who got married on that day in that temple on that year got the same name. It's like a state issue or standard issue. Kind of like the military. This is my rifle. This is my gun. Yeah. So Larry, I mean, he's always shook hands. I haven't seen him really do that here, but he would. But they kind of Archie has a resting bitch face. Thomas, he just has a bitch face, and then Larry, Lori, she's just a bitch. So I know I just bombed y'all, but it's fitting. My typical name was Priscilla. Well, that's different. Yeah, because like I went looking, for like Phoebe, just out of curiosity, me. I'm curious, and I'm just I always thought I was a digger, but Jen told me, she was like, "You're a researcher," and I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm just nosy." I was always told, but no, I am. I am a researcher, just without the degrees or the money. Miss Nadine says, my husband can't remember my new name. Oh no. So I'm sunk. More importantly, he can't remember his own new name. And he got his before the names were standardized, so I can't help him. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. That's a conundrum right there, Miss Nadine. It really is. And I'm not laughing. It's just, be like, hey, just use pet names or something. Babe, remember me? Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that though. Yeah. I was surprised when I ran across the temple name Oracle, not that it matters. Again, it's to each their own. It's just you learn things, and I find it interesting. I really do. I wouldn't be doing it this long and this much if I didn't find it interesting. Your birthday was September 22nd. I don't know. I just passed it up right when you said that. September 22nd. So, yeah, I can't find it. Well, happy birthday on the 22nd of September. But I get it. It's the dates. It's all about the dates. And so Chad was like, Google, like, this is what they showed, today. I got tired of writing notes because the FBI agent, the lady, she was just, I was like, I cannot write that fast. And I'm doing this with my glasses on. And I'm just like, I'm done. I'll just listen to it later. I'm not going to sit here and fret over it. And, so I bought that battery pack too. That way I can stay tweeting or tweet on and off. Because, I killed my phone within the first, before the mid-morning break. So it was kind of different today as far as breaks and stuff. So Larry, and Mom was just like, no, Larry, because he was like, I'm going to go shake it. I'm going to go tell her out, and Mom's like, no. And she's like, just whatever. And I'm like, just let them be. Make her some potato salad, Mom. So yeah, my Lori glasses, they're right here. That's Robinette Bannister. Oh, that's Bailey Sarian. She wears black ones now. She just, like, her ears, I have no room to talk because my ears, when my hair was long, like, last month, And so my ears kind of point out, and I'm like, oh my god, my ears are poking out. I'm trying, Grammy B. I am. I really am. We're just keeping my mind busy. Just that's it, right? That's the main thing. So doing this with you guys really does, it gives me something to look forward to, it gives me something to be late for. I won't disappoint. Um uh let's see. All right, well, where'd he go? Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure, but I just needed to chop it. I was just like, I was sick of it. My hair's been down to here. Um, Sorry for the late comment. I was listening, but elsewhere. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Hey, Tracy, I've been wearing your bracelet all the time, and it's because it doesn't have Tylee or JJ. Don't want to influence. Influence is, you know, my facial expressions alone would convict her ass. But you're guilty. So I'm trying. I try. I'm like, even when I'm texting to tweet or something, I'm like, and I mess up, I'm like, it's just that's who I am. I have an animated face. Who had a moment with Summer? I did. I mean, yeah, because I don't know what Larry did. Anyway, so he was going into the courtroom. He told mom he was going to go say hi, and so he did, I guess. And then when we sat down, it's Larry, mom, and then there's the trauma coach. Her last name's Ferris. That's all I know. I can't. Oh, well, now I don't want to say her first name because then it would dox her last name. So she knows who she is. And actually, she made. Oh, I just took it off. She made some. It's a ring, and it's got the green. Me and JJ's birthstone is in May, so Tammy too, and the studs are over there. And this was from Detective's daughter, which is I love it. I'm like, I'm getting jewelry. This is cool. I love costume jewelry too. That's like one of my faves. But anyways, so yeah, so we're sitting, and so I kind of always tend to sit. I like to sit in the pews. I don't like sitting in the chairs. I'm not skinny enough. I feel like I'm just like on display or something. I don't like it. Even though they're cushioned and they look nice, but they're not. So I sit in the pews, and it just kind of leans you in there. And have I gone to the spa yet? No. The one downstairs? No. I'm weird. I know. Not yet. I thought about it though. That's more than I've ever done. I've never even gone that far. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really too much leave my room. I just go and stay within the walls of the the confines of the hotel, which is fine. There's just we'll get there. It's okay. We're winging it, right? That's what we do. So Larry walks in. I walk. We sit down, and I know. Then there's Jeff. Over here. They're like up closer to Lori, but still the middle is for the families. It's there's not really a side, because it's like a set of pews. I forgot to do that layout for y'all. I wanted to do a layout. So, because I mean, you want to kind of know. I'm going to draw it on a napkin. That's what I'm going to do. And that way you can kind of know what the hell we're talking about. Well, let's see. Maybe a napkin's probably not a good idea. Boys, jurors. I'll be better than a sketch artist. And then prosecution. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then this is where they sidebar all the time. Not too much though. And it's really all they do is play that white noise, and we're all like, you can talk. I like the white noise anyways. And then so Lori's like over here. So I'm gonna put Lori or put L there. Okay. And then there's a podium here. And then there's a projector here. There's a lot of P's. So I know. That's really not gonna make sense. Family. And then there's a long row back here. So I don't know if this will help. But so, and I can't see the point. Okay. So let's say you walk in and there's boys, right? Okay. And then we're here. Lori's here. And then this is where it's backwards. This is where they sidebar all the time. And then prosecution's here. So we're like literally right behind them. And then there's some pews here, some pews here. And then there's a back wall of pews except for the door. Okay. And the jurors sit way the hell over here. And there's a projector. I don't know if that helps. It would help if I held it right. So it just kind of gives you a little, layout. And literally, I mean, but I have it way too far over, because really she's more in a, oh my God, this is weird. There's more of a direct line, she's close, and then Thomas sits closest to us. They sandwich her in the middle, and then Archibald is further away. But anyway, so she did see Summer, and I didn't see Summer smile, but I'm sure she smiled. But Lori smiled. I'm sure she was relieved, if you think about it. I'll make a better one in Canva. I will. But yeah, it just kind of gives you a little, because all you can do is imagine, right? Like we've done everything else in this case. I can only imagine. I do have good views of the jurors, especially the ones, closer to this end and not the back end, well, I'll just call that north. They're on the south side. And, the ones towards the end, they tend to look our way a lot, so it's really important that I do poker face. I was like, I don't have a poker face. Close enough for a shovel to reach her. Yeah. You know what? Somebody pointed out to me. I know, y'all know how I do, but it's important. I mean, it's just one of them things, and you're like, that's not cool. Well, I do a lot of texting. And then I could probably Google it faster. I'm going to Google it. The state seal for Idaho. Let me Google that on up. It's just interesting. Is it another coincidence? I doubt it. I hope it don't dry or lag my stream, but we'll try. All right, let me go share. Sharing is caring. Share screen. Idaho State Seal share. All right, so check it. Let's see. Oh, it just opened in another damn window. God dang. And then really, what? I don't want to go to. Oh, okay, here we go. So you see this fella here? Yeah. Do you see what's in his? He has a pickaxe and a shovel. Straight up. Pickaxe, shovel. You can't make this stuff up. Yeah. So there's a little bit of that. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done the research to see how many others, how many, Mormon dominated states do that. I don't know if all states do. I think mine has a pelican. I don't know. I'm sure it's got some coded stuff in my state seal too. But speaking of sealings, no. Anyways, it is ironic though, right? Right. So my friend Sue's brought that to my attention. She's got an eye for detail. So yeah. So anyway, today, let's see. We're sitting. Let's see in this little bench. This is where we are, and then I'll put an S for summer. Okay. So we're the circle, and I'm closer to summer. Oh, S, the S. Okay. So she's literally right there, or right here. And anyway, so I was just gonna just be me, I don't really. I go out of my way, but I mean, really, she said some really shitty shit. I mean, some really crappy stuff to about my uncle to Lori. You know, she said some pretty sketchy stuff. I don't trust her. I don't. I mean, who would you? Would you trust? Never mind. I mean, that's a rhetorical question because you can't. So she um she turns towards me, right? And I'm like, oh hell, here we go. And usually I'm Southern too, so I lean in or something. I was like, just a little bit, She was way far away. You know what I mean? Not far, but I could have leaned in a little more. Thank you. Crazy, but the state seal of Arizona also has a guy with a pickaxe and shovel. I think that's going to be our next homework assignment is to root them out, right? Is it in the Mormon? Is it a thing? Hey, allegedly innocent. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. It's eerie enough knowing that I slept under the same roof for about 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 nights or whatever with Barry and Janice. I'm good. I'm good. Summer did love Jason Mao. She had that was her Book of Mormon crush. Was Captain Moroni, Thank you, okie dokie. I don't trust her. From what the things she said in the FOIA docs, where she had Alex come and stay with Lori because she was so worried about Lori. And then the next day my uncle's murdered, and then there's this time whenever Brandon Boudreaux got shot at and shit shot McGee there. Oh, Alex Cox, boy, he was not a good marksman, let's just say, but he did enough. It's the intent. I don't trust any of them either. Eli, I forget. Thank you, Carolyn. I've been seeing you around more. Well, because I look more. Thank you so much. You can, but don't. Just don't. That's why I'm glad she was sitting in front of me because, back of me, I'm good. Because, okay, so Summer made this whole comment in the FOIA docs that got released, right? And she says, and it's all to do with that Edgar guy, right? So there's this picture that comes up out of nowhere in this case, and there's Summer, and she's taking a selfie with Edgar, who also had a Shmuel account, right? And she says to Lori, he wouldn't have missed. Okay? She knows. She's in the know. She was going to these, I think she was lined up with their beliefs because they're not any different from the damn churches. Just saying. But I straight up said second anointing to her today. And y'all, I thought she was about to get up and start preaching or something. I was like, oh, no, no, no. I was like, I just wanted to leave that there. But she did. She said, so anyway, she was like, I just want to tell you I'm sorry for your losses. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. I don't know if she means it, but I'm going to be me, right? And I said, it really does suck. I said, there really are no winners in this. And she was like, no, and I was like, it'd be different if there were, right? And I mean, we had one of those, although I don't trust her. And I was like, and that's your sister and your niece and my nephew and my Uncle Charles, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, and so you lost your brother and your sister pretty much. And I said, really, we lost a lot of ourselves. That's something they stole from all of us. Let's just say that Summer was just a top-notch person. There would be, I could have a connection with somebody like that, right? But I can't with these people. I won't. Their last name is Cox, for Christ's sake. Anyway, so I mean, I've kind of leaned in for that, and I mean, because at first, I'll reach out a hug. I'm a hugger, I'm hugging all kinds of northern people up here. They're like, wait, what? I would probably be rude and ask, are you? Right? Right? Don't you need to be sitting over there with your sister? Shish. Mm-mm. Terrible. Yeah. So I was trying to think of all these things while I was like, in the conversation with her, but I couldn't. So it took me a little bit to kind of think of the things that just kept me pissed off about her, I mean, there's her and Melanie, well, no, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, all of them. Melanie, Janice, and Summer all said shitty things about my mom, um, my uncle, who was murdered at this point. Um, she's, as I say, I find in the FOIA doc, she's like, Edgar wouldn't have missed for Brandon, and I'm thinking, and then she's setting up Alex going, and then Alex is like, no, we're going to go have fun today, but yet JJ has to go to school. So there's that, no, you didn't. No, you weren't. Y'all are a bunch of liars, and they're crappy liars, by the way. Good God. It's so overt. It's overt to the amount of deception. I don't know if they, I'm like, well, you tell lies or people tell lies so much that you don't know the truth from a lie anymore. You're just like, you just roll with it. And anyways, that's these. So yeah, so I was like, you know what? I said, I actually feel compassion and empathy for Lori. And I mean, I'm just being honest. I do this. One moment I might be like, because had they not been born into this religion, in my opinion, we wouldn't be here right now. That's my honest opinion. That's my gut. That's my research backing up my gut and vice versa. Yeah, enablers. And that's what the church does too. So it's like whatever behaviors you see, this is my unprofessional opinion, but experience opinion. And it's like if you're gonna if you're gonna, read somebody, you're gonna catch their patterns, psychoanalyze them, right? I know that we tend to just stay here because that's normally what we do. We don't have this whole culture, not even subculture. It's culture. And from the moment they go into from the moment they're born. And then in primary, they're teaching their kids to sing follow the prophet, and it just repeats. The lady on Court TV said she heard Summer's audio recording with Lori may be even better than Colby's. As far as like socking it to her, but still, she said some really crappy things. Want me to run or was that Janice that said want me to run interference? It just enablers, like y'all said, enablers, right? And they all turn their backs on, like some little children, like, we're not talking to him no more, like, who does that? They're rhetorical. But so anyway, she was, I said, I feel empathy, actually feel compassion because they're set up for failure. But I'm talking to an active Mormon here. But I feel like I'm talking to an active Mormon who's lost so much, who, you know what I mean? Like, we're about the same age, and anyway, so I told her, I was like, I'm sorry for your losses too. We've all lost a lot. That there's no, it's not a contest. There's no, after the fact. Summer's birthday is September 23rd. It's the day before Tylee's. I wonder. Yeah. DJ number has. I mean, DJ Norman has those numbers. He's already plugged them. He's filtered them, ran them backwards, forwards, side to side. Ritual murder. So, anyways, I was like, because if I had one question, if I could talk to her, I just would want a yes or a no. I won't tell. You know what I mean? I just need to know for me. This is to you, Crush, on behalf of KJ, who takes nothing, and she does. She's my biggest cheerleader. She really is. I love her. I love me some KJ and some Mr. Wayne. She shares everything. She does. I love it. Thank you, though, Carolyn. Thank you for you know what I mean. Thank you for doing that and then pointing that out, because she is a very selfless person. There's good people. Thank God I've met you guys. And then there's the really shitty ones, as above, so below. That's how I look at it. But, I mean, she's my biggest cheerleader. I was like, whoa, she's like, we got to get Crash at a trial. And I was like, wait, what? Like, okay. But I mean, it's so awkward. It's an awkward position. It really, I'm not like some damn panhandler, like I don't know. It's weird. I don't want people making money off the blood of my family members and at their expense. And I also don't want to profit from this either, but I do want to maintain. It takes money to make money. You can't have one without the other. That's just business, period. These things cost things, even though they work crappy. If I must just bitch about that. Thank you, though. She's a sweetie. I love her. She's going to marry me and Jason. So, I mean, we'll record it. Maybe we'll live stream it. I don't know. Haven't gotten that far yet. But so that'll be in July in Tennessee. And, I asked her too. So, and she was like, what? I just think it would be good. When you're a good person to see that everyone lost. Everyone does. There are no winners in this. Like, straight up. If they sentence them to death, life, whatever, it's a done deal. We've already been sentenced. We've been sentenced, right? And it doesn't. If it breathes life into them again, let's get the show on the road, right? But that's just not. It's not like that. So I don't know. Can't wait. Little nuggets keep coming to the surface that we didn't know from the Chandler documents. I know. It's exactly, they can't disclose everything because it's part of the investigation, you know. At first I was like, oh, this is it. This is everything, you know. Then I was like, wait, no. They have to hold some stuff. Oh my God. I don't know I don't know why these things do that. The little, I don't know. And maybe I need to just sit my butt still. But there are, and you know what? Okay, this is what I can compare it to. You know, well, y'all probably don't know. When we get FOIA dumps or whatever, document dumps, I would like start nervous cleaning. I would just be, I'd be cleaning everything because it just made me nervous. Because I mean, I had heard about it or read about it in a report, but then there's the body cam footage to back it up. And then, so this trial is a blow every day. Every day is a FOIA dump, document dump, or whatever you want to call it to me. And so you know, uh, I mean, just the stuff you learn. And it's the little things that bother me the most. The little things, the petty things. Like, I learned today that Alex was on, uh, he leased apartment 175 and Lori leased apartment 107. So this made me think while I was trying to go live that her whole Lori's alibi. So technically, where did she die? You know, where did the murders happen? First off, um, Edgar is somebody I don't trust. He looked. I don't know, but they looked a little too cozy. Edgar, I don't remember his last name, but he's kind of a. I guess he's like from South America, maybe. You know, or I don't know. I don't. It's been a long time since I saw that picture or whatever. Um, but it's just interesting to know the kind of people they hang around with, anyways. Yeah, they did intentionally make it confusing every step of the way. Lori Ryan, she uses things when they're convenient for her. You know, she's like, oh, okay. You know, she basically sealed Joseph Ryan. He's damned in their book. But yet she don't mind using Lori Ryan when it's convenient for her. And I'm sure any other damn name she's had. You know, but those are just like whenever she moved from Chandler, Arizona to uh here, um she had a Q45 Infinity. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but she had an Infinity. Badass, right? You know, I'd drive it. But I bet you anything it was in my uncle and her. If it might have been in both their names, it could have just been in my uncle's name. Who knows? But so I'm thinking, why would she go Miss Old Sassafras there? Nose up in the air. She's better than everybody, right? And she goes and trades it in for freaking, and nothing against Nissan Rogue, but that's not Lori like. If you know, that's not her pattern. She is materialistic. Everything is a material. Everything is a pawn. You know, um, but she does. She fools you with her heart, too. Yeah, I actually had found a here I go glitching. I'm gonna be pissed off. I see the little Wi-Fi signal thing. Anyways, it's making me nervous. Okay. So, anyways, so we had gone through some of uncle, whatever mom was throwing away or whatever. And, I was looking for anything LDS related, right? And so I ran across Tylee's patriarchal blessing. I ran across Colby's too. And yeah, so it's just little things like that I saved, just for reference. I have some of Tylee's Kauai medical bills, or medical things. I didn't know I did, till it was after they were found. And so I was like, what do I do? Do I read Tylee's patriarchal blessing? Do I include that in the victim impact statement? Because it's not about me. It's not about me at all. I want the victims to have that moment in the courtroom with all eyes, all ears, listening to things that were said to them, about them, the patriarchal blessing. Tylee loved her church. I don't know. It's so sad. She seems to care. That's money. Right, exactly. There you go. She's very materialistic. I mean, I didn't even, of course I see that, but I remember Summer had done interviews and she was like, Lori, that's Charles at one of the big houses, and Lori's just not materialistic. And I'm like, yeah, now, really? Yes, she is. Yes, she is. I asked Mom that, but I did not. I'm writing myself a note to ask. All I have is napkins. No, I don't. Writing myself a note. Ask Whitney. And I think Mom was getting confused. She was like, well, you can get somebody to read it for you. I was like, no, I'm not worried about, I'm not nervous. Vid, I'm sorry if the computer's shaking. Victim impact. Okay. All right. Thank you. Because I want to know, because I can say it through music, and I can say it to the videos. I wish I could find Uncle Charles's "I had not yet met a Mormon" speech or whatever testimony. It was telling. I wish I could remember it. It's just I don't remember it verbatim, but it was his life, and then every paragraph he'd say, "I had not yet met a Mormon." And then he would say, the kids at school where they would teach, if she was a primary president or whatever, and he would teach, and they'd call him Mr. Lori, and he talks about how he loved her family. He talks about how, when he met them and they were, just having fun without drinking alcohol, that it made him a better person. He found something in them, in Lori, and whatever they had going on then, that love is blind, because they took advantage of his generosity. But again, he died being the person that he always has been, and that's love. And just, he would engage with you. You were there, like he was present. He was listening. Anyways, those little things. So I don't know. I just really respect the hell out of my uncle. I feel really bad for him. Okay, I don't want to cry. Just speak for them. There we go. Yeah, he did. You should get married in Gatlinburg. I've been there, actually. My first plane ride. I remember that Mom on the Case. That song told the story of what was happening that day. Yeah. Just speak for them. Let the world know how special Tylee, how special JJ, Tylee, and your Uncle Charles were. Speak of what we are all missing because their futures were robbed. Don't speak her name. Don't give Lori that. I had already thought about that too. You know, I'm really, you're right. Don't give her that power. She's already exalted, you know. So, anyways, but yeah, so we continuing on. Y'all know I take forever. I'm a coon ass. We take forever to tell a story. And I think that too, Lisa Miller. I'm like, Tylee, JJ, Charles, Tammy, and Joe, they are no longer being used, abused, and used as pawns and taken for granted. You know, they're with each other, in my opinion. Jill Schneider, are you related to Ned or Nick? I'm just kidding. It's spelled Snider, though. That's how it was Googled, you know? So we cracked that case. I've been spelling it Schneider. And, oh, thank you, Tracy Cruz. That means a lot. I need to get my elbows off the table because I'm jiggling the laptop. But anyways, thank you. That's all I strive to be, you know. Just want to make them proud. Let's see. Notice defense trying to make him feel nameless when asking why his his last name was Ryan. Let me tell you something. My stepdad did the same thing as whatever happened here. You know, like I don't know. Like I just know, you know, my dad, I don't think my dad signed, my real dad, I don't think my dad signed over rights, right? But in Louisiana, what they did with my birth certificate is they took a pen and they scratched one line through Easton and they wrote in all caps TRAHAN and then they put a seal. Oh, there you go. It was sealed. But no, so I grew up I just, you know, went with Trahan because Dennis was, I was 18 months old when my mom met Dennis, which is Todd's dad. My dad, you know, I have a dad. God bless me. So, but so I feel kind of like the same thing happened with Colby, you know, it's like, oh no, he didn't adopt me, but my name has changed, you know? So, and yeah, that's terrible. It is terrible. You're right. It is a jab, you know? I like how Colby, he hammered. I didn't know anything about that, y'all. And it said a lot to me. Now, he's got his own issues. Don't we all? So I'm not going to cast judgment. There's already too much of that. Anyways, you know, got to start building each other up, not tearing each other down. Hey, KJ. Stephanie Wood. They always make excuses for themselves. The cops told Lori how to avoid the psychological exam to not enter the door. Right? Did she ever get her little butt cooped up in that little middle? I don't think so. Till I see papers and people testify, and then I'll be like, wait, because every time y'all, when they swear in, they raise their right arm to the square. I'm like, I remember when that happened, you know, with the preliminary hearing. You know, I'm like, don't let them raise their arm to the square. Hell no. You promise to tell the truth, put a Book of Mormon right there. Just kidding. Yes. And I think that's, you know, Kelsey brought him to Jesus. You know what I mean? So we all have a purpose in this, and God knows what he's doing. Yeah. And they don't. None of them do. None of them. None. I'm never going to get started. But so okay. So I'm like, if I had one, this is me back with Summer, okay? And by this time she had reached her hand out. I shook her hand, you know. it's hard. It's just hard. I can forgive, but I won't forget. I will always, be watching my back. But it is tragic, Um, but I said, if I could ask Lori one question and just yes or no, I don't want to know anymore. I would just want to say, did you take part in the second anointing? That's all I want to know. And I'm not trying to point the fingers anywhere else. I'm systematically trying to figure it out. And then I don't know how to fix it, but it's got to be, it's, we can't just continue. We cannot. So even if they didn't take part in the second anointing, it still goes on and it can cause this very thing because I put it, it fits. It fits. So Summer, this is where her faith kicks in. And I'm like, oh, I am not trying to debate. I ain't going to, don't start calling me a core whore. I will, Lord, keep me close to the cross, right? And anyways, she was like, well, and I could see how you could get to that. And I was just like, because I got to that. I continue to go back to that. That's what it is, in my opinion. I know not everybody agrees with me on that. That's okay. As long as we can still, be friends. But so she knew about it. She knew about it because she was like, I can see how people now. And so I had to, and I was like, look, my thing's being sketchy again. I was like, I'm just letting you know, I just wanted to plant that seed, this is my theory. I'm not saying Chad and Lori are still their individual selves and everybody else. And I'm like, she could have said no, but she didn't. That's why we're here, and she agreed. We agreed. We were like, yeah. And then the girl sitting next to her, before Summer had turned around, I could see the side kind of her. Her name is Christy or Kristen. I don't know. She's a cousin. Oh, my eyes are itching. And she looked like Tylee, like just from the side. I was like, they really do, resemble each other. Not now. That was horrible. I shouldn't have said that, but I mean, it's true. Anyway, so she turned around and, she was talking to, and she was like, no, our church and, and the Heavenly Father. I'm like, I know. Not everybody believes like that. I know. I get it. I mean, I wasn't trying to attack the church. I get so tired of that. Y'all, it's like beating my head up against the damn wall. Because I'm like, if y'all protected the kids and protected Charles and Tammy and Joe, then like y'all do the church, we also would not be here right now, in my opinion. I just wish, I don't know. It's going to take my whole life. Look at Sandra Tanner. She's a superstar. I just remember, Moira, good to see you. I just always remember how duplicitous Summer was with Rob in the beginning. Lying piece of shit with that scuzzy Garrett. I know. I don't like him. No. He is a sleazeball. He really is. Allegedly. They don't fight fair. So they don't. Somebody said in the comments the other day, they were like, I picture Lori sleeping upside down like a bat. It made me laugh. So stupid, but it just made me laugh. Good to see you. Where you going, girl? Good to see you for a bit. Talk soon. Where you going, little Brands? You better come pick me up. Yes, that was. I was like, oh my God. Lori looks up children's life insurance after Charles was murdered and before she gets to Rexburg. Now, remember the text in the FOIA docs between Melanie's and Laura Hoare, and she was like, maybe you should get, insurance on yourself and the kids. I wonder if she went and got the $2 million on herself. Huh. At that time, we're gonna find out. I want. See, I need like just like FOIA doc, how they would just dump, but it would be like what, twice throughout the whole thing. And this is every day. And so I just cannot. Oh, wait, what do you mean? Heidi's mine? Like, not denying it is big, though? Wait, like, are you talking about the second anointing? Because that's where I go. So do Mormons have to sign in to get into the temple? Oh, God, they have cards. I just started listening to today's audio and thought I heard that, but then came here. Yeah, I don't know. It was a lot to process, right? And there's bishops and I mean, they're just hammering out the info, and it's not like financial. I mean, some of it is, but it's you really want to hear. These are the things I'm like, wait, what? I don't know. I guess my TV was listening to me again. You know how you say something and then it appears, right? And so I was going to poke holes in Melanie Gibb'S testimony. Well, her and David back to back, it came on automatically on the TV. And I was like, it refreshed my memory. Because David Warwick had been knowing Chad for 5 years. And this is in 2020. But not really so much in his testimony this time. Those are those things, and it just sucks. They suck. They're shitty people. I keep seeing her living in a tent, complaining that there is nowhere to hang her huge mirror without the tent falling down. I actually woke up, my tent fell. It was like, I was like, when I woke up, I was like 13. Lori and Chad swipe their temple cards within seconds of one another. I just don't. So that's what I'm saying. And it's so hard to explain because not everybody is open to it. I'm not. It's not saying that I approve. Trust me, I don't approve. But this goes on. And I mean, if I denied the fact that there's ritual murder, then I would be really silencing Tylee's voice. And I won't do it. I won't do it. It'll make me uncomfortable as hell, but I'll do it. I might drag my feet a little bit, but I mean, it happens. It can't all just be a conspiracy. It can't just all be, there's truth to everything. There's truth to everything. And the little jokes we tell, especially me, I say things and then I'm just like, it's passive aggressive, right? There's truth in it though. These things take place. This is the secret combinations. It is. I didn't make it up. You didn't make it up. Here we are. It just, yeah. And that's how it is in my mind. I can't help it. At first, when I first saw President Nelson, and I'm not trying to offend anybody here. This is just me. I was like, he scares me, like for real. So does the Pope. So there's that. I'm just like, yeah, something's not right there. It's weird. But I mean, I don't know if it's because of all this, but still, I didn't look at them like I looked at them like I could go to them. That's how I felt until I didn't. And when I was like, this goes all the way up. This goes all the way to the tippity top. And I love Jen for this because she always she's like, no, and I'm glad I'm glad because I'm cautious. I'm very careful. What's the point to just go pointing fingers, without, and it's not to point fingers, it's to find the damn truth. They deserve that. The victims deserve that. I'm not going to apologize for that. How can Lori keep composure? I don't get it. Her children are gone and she hasn't batted an eye over it. She did try to leave the courtroom twice. Cheers, Mr. M. Yeah. Religion gives people unchecked power. We must do better. Move. It won't move. Okay. We must do better. We must do better expecting good behavior from those in power. We have to, just like we do with our, our politicians and stuff, same thing. It's the same thing. Just you have one job, one purpose. Don't be an asshole. That's the one thing you got to just go out every day and be like, let me not be an asshole today. It's snowing over there. That's crazy. Y'all's weather is about as crazy as Louisiana over there. I call it tripolar weather because it is. So, I don't have that. Okay, hold on. Hold, please. Turn that off. And let's see. Let me type it in. Melanie Gibb'S trial testimony. Wow. Thank you. This is the most I've ever had in chat, by the way. Thank you. I mean, I feel humbled. Big time. Big time. Thank you. All right. Let me share. We're going to do this. Utah.
And who else went with you?
In July. So I know she was back in Arizona by July.
Yeah,
So all the way from January to July, she moved around several times.
Ooh.
And while she was moving around,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was, she was just trying to help him.
Anyways, do y'all hear how she has a cold? David has a cold? Just saying. Okay, let me back it up. Is this the part 1 and part 2? Or is this all of it? Oh, we're not sitting here for 3 hours and 30 minutes. We can't. Okay, I'm going to do this. We're just going to listen to a little bit then. Like to hear it? Hold your ears.
Gibb, sometimes we've had a hard time picking up the witnesses. So the court reporter may instruct you or tell you if she's having a hard time hearing you, okay? Would you please state your name for the record?
Melanie Gibb'S.
Miss Gibb, do you know an individual named Lori Vallow?
Yes.
No, it's Lori.
How do you know her?
I met her in Arizona at a church event.
Do you recall approximately when you met her?
October 2018.
I find that fascinating. Because October 26th, then they go to St. George, and then she meets, Chud, Potato Head. Whatever.
When you met her at that event, did the two of you end up forming a friendship?
Yes.
No.
Do you know an individual named Chad Daybell?
Yes.
And how do you know him?
I met him at some of different events that I've been to.
Like what, Melanie?
Do you recall approximately when you would have met Mr.
He
Daybell?
recalls nothing.
I think I met him maybe a year or two before I met Lori.
Okay.
When you first met Mr. Daybell, did the two of you strike up a friendship at that time?
Oh, hell yeah.
Just a casual,
He
introduction
asked you to go
each
to dinner.
other.
After your first meeting with Mr. Daybell, did the two of you stay in contact?
Whenever we would see, it was very periodically. It was not like we communicated as friends or anything. We
Just
just,
beyond
if
the
we
veil.
engaged, seeing each other, we might say a few words to each other, but not a whole lot of contact.
And after you first met Lori, did the two of you continue
Like
communicating
Velcro,
from that
boo.
first meeting?
Yes.
Did you stay in constant contact or consistent
Yeah,
contact?
because
Yes.
them out, hooked them up.
Have you ever met or did you ever meet an individual named Tylee Ryan?
Yes.
And where did you meet her?
I met her at Lori's house.
Do you recall approximately when that would have been?
She can't.
I would say within a week or two after I met Lori.
Did
Lisa discovered.
Did you ever observe Lori and Tylee together?
Yes.
What were you able to observe about their interactions?
She seemed upset and frustrated with
Did
Lori
not like you.
pretty much most of the time.
Brandon didn't like
So, and when
you.
you say she, you're referring to Tylee?
Tylee, correct.
Did there appear to be some tension in that relationship?
Yes,
Did you ever meet an individual named JJ Vallow?
I did.
And,
Yes.
and where would you have met him if you recall?
Same place, Lori's house.
Do you recall approximately when you would have met him?
Within a week or two after meeting her.
And y'all are quick.
Did you have occasion to observe Lori and JJ's interactions
I mean,
with
for
each
what,
other?
a week?
I did.
A week?
And what observations were you able to make of those
A week of
interactions?
observation.
So sometimes I would watch her with him, and she was very affectionate and loving to him. I watched her sing a song to him as she was going to put him to bed. She seemed to care a lot about him. And other times, as I got
Okay, so Sins of Our Mother, Mr. Sandman, that just came into my head.
to know her as time went on, he seemed to, frustrated, and so the connection, maybe wasn't as
With JJ.
I didn't see them interacting as much the same way. She was distracted a lot, so
Because she
I
called
don't know
him
how to
on
explain
off.
it very well, but it was she was just trying to help him, trying to settle down or whatever. But
She's so helpful.
So
Wait, she tried to help him settle down by stripping them down. Because, and this stands so poignant in my head now, I think back to when Uncle Charles came down with JJ. He met my mom altering hand, so that was JJ's great grandmother, and that was her first time meeting him, right? And that's where the picture is with my brother and his baby boy, and Uncle, it was awesome. Anyways, on the way out of my mom's house, I forget what obviously it was talking about Lori, but he was like, Lori, she just needs to be needed. And I mean, I didn't remember that till, not long ago. And I was just like, oh, wow. And so she made it to where you did need her and depend on her. And then so she stripped these kids down. Every comfort, everything. And that's cruel. And I'm still going to kick Chad's ass for oh my God, child abuse. Oh my God.
And from your observations, JJ and Lori appeared to interact more when you had first met JJ.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And it seems like those interactions declined over time.
I would say a little bit. I mean,
hey, Jennifer.
But
I think you indicated from your observations, Lori was busy with some other things, or
she's just distracted a lot.
Welcome to the channel. I want to.
After first meeting Lori, we've talked about that you stayed in contact with her. How often would the two of you see each other?
Don't do that.
Sometimes it was daily or several times a week in the beginning, just in the very beginning. Yeah.
What?
And when you say in the very beginning, do you recall approximately how long the two of you would?
These people consider, like, I don't get it. They're like, yeah, Lori moved here, then she moved there, then moved there, and I'm like, that's not moving. That's a hooker. That's what a hooker does. That's a Jezebel. She's just swinging pillow to post, okay, batting everything down because she's a hooker, and so when people say she moved here and she moved here and she moved there, she really didn't. She was just traveling, that's not moving. That's moving around. I don't consider her moving. She didn't change her damn license. She didn't change her address unless it sufficed her. So for this woman, Melanie Gibb'S is no expert in this. First off, she was consuming Lori's time, right? She was taking it away. Brandon Boudreaux testified to this, that Christmas of 2018, stuff was weird because Melanie Gibb and her husband, Brendan, were there at their family Christmas stuff, right? So I really think she's the influence here, really. I don't know. There's so many different things because they're all the same.
Interact that frequently?
I would say until January. And then when she started moving, then I didn't see her as much or talk to her as much.
And when you say January, do you recall what year that would have been?
2019.
Did you and Lori live fairly close to each other?
I would say within 20, 25 minutes from each other.
But I probably stalked
And did the two of you talked about you'd get together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you also speak to her over the phone during those times?
Correct.
Did you also message with her, text message or otherwise?
Yes.
Ms. Gibb, I would instruct you again, if you could just wait until the question is completed before you answer. And I understand it can be nervous to be there. It's just easier for our court reporter if it's just a back and forth exchange. So thank you.
And you indicated, I think, that after she started moving, could you explain what was going on there?
So this is the first 45 minutes now that Warwick listened to.
So
on accident.
So about January.
Then David Warwick claimed he had a conscience. What?
She decided to leave. And I believe she first went to Alex's house. Or maybe Hawaii. They kind of were near the same timing. So she decided to leave and stay with him. And then she went to Hawaii. And then eventually she went to Texas. So she went to 3 different places. And then she finally went back to Arizona at the very end as her state that I knew her in Arizona.
Do you know, you indicated she'd traveled around starting in January. Do you recall when you say at the end, approximately when the end was that she ended up, what time period she was moving around?
So January, February.
She was ducking
March,
and dodging being served.
April, May, and then July. I know she was back when Charles was killed in July. So I knew she was back in Arizona by July. So all the way from January to July, she moved around several times.
And while she was moving around, did you stay in contact with her?
Well, yes, she did. She was so.
Was that frequent contact? Do you recall approximately how often you'd speak with her or text with her?
It was inconsistent, but it was pretty frequent at the same time. So
yeah, Mom on the Case. I have that on my channel. I have it privated because other channels like to take it. Yeah, I had one where it redacted Sherry Dowdle out of it, and then another person had it too, and they dropped it, and everybody went there. But it's okay, just like. And so I had the original, and then I had one where it was redacted, where it just said nothing but what Melanie Gibb'S said. And it's horrific. Yeah. And then there's also a recording that my mom has that she left at home that she wants me to listen to. It's 2 hours of their conversation with Melanie. So she's like, I know you'll just poke holes in it. I was like, bring it on. Bring it on. I love poking holes in these people. It's easy.
it wasn't like a consistent daily basis, but it was often.
And after meeting Lori, you indicated you met her in October of 2018. Did the two of you end up taking a trip to Utah?
Yes.
And who else went with you?
There was, I don't know, about 5 or 6 ladies. I can't recall their names right now.
I can. Jenna Lee Fish, her and her daughter rode with you. And then Summer went to support. Wait, how did it go? Melanie Gibb'S, I don't know how it went, but they all went to support each other. It was like, well, Melanie Gibb went, so Lori went to support Melanie Gibb, and then Summer went to support Lori, and then Barry went to support. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, what the hell? They weird.
And that's just
Yeah.
fine, just what you can
Yeah,
recall.
I can't recall their names.
So there were 5 or 6 ladies
Yeah.
that went to Utah together.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Where did you go in Utah?
We went to St. George, Utah.
And what were you headed there for? Was there a reason?
There was a conference there.
I agree. Allegedly.
And do you recall if Chad Daybell was also at that conference?
He was.
Did you observe a meeting between Chad and Lori?
Yes.
Do you know, had they ever met before?
No.
Were you there when they first met?
I believe so. I was there with her the whole time.
Did they, how long was the conference that you were at?
I wish the behavior panel.
It was
rip 'em
the
apart.
weekend, so it was like a Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday most people went home. So it was that weekend.
And do you recall if Chad Daybell was there for the entirety of the conference?
He was there Friday and Saturday.
Were you and Lori there Friday and Saturday as well?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, we were in the area till Sunday. We stayed at somebody's home, but the conference was Friday and Saturday. And it could have been a Sunday evening, but I can't recall that right now. But he was gone by, if I remember, he was gone by Sunday morning or Saturday night, something like that.
Back to his wife.
Were you able to observe Lori and Chad together throughout the time that they were both there?
Yes.
And what, if any, observations did you make of their interactions?
They were very friendly to each other, very interactive, talking a lot
Brown chicken, brown cow.
about some of their ideas and beliefs that they had at that time. And so they were, there was definitely attraction in the beginning, right from the beginning. So.
And did you specifically observe any of Lori's actions towards Chad or how her demeanor appeared?
She seemed very interested in him, like someone that would meet somebody they're attracted to. She seemed flattered by him
Wow.
and very enticed by the conversation
By his
and,
chin.
flirty-like. I would say a little flirty-like.
A little
as
flirty.
well.
Flirty.
And do you know what Chad Daybell did for a living?
He was an author and a publisher and also a sexton.
Yeah, he was a gold digger way over town. Yeah. He ain't nothing but a gold digger. Look, I want to show this. I want to go. Oh, wait. Did I do it? Oh. Okay, I didn't do it yet. Good. All right, now hold on.
Come forward. You can come here through the gate on this side. Kind of like this, so that you don't talk over it. Mr. Wood, you may inquire when you're ready.
Thank you. Will you state your name and spell it for the record?
Melanie Gibb'S, Gibb.
Y'all, straight up, I was like, she's on Xanax. I mean, for real. I was saying it in the chats. God, I didn't know better, but I even text mom. I was like, she's on Xanax. Her eyelashes were causing tsunamis.
Ms. Gibb, are you familiar with the defendant, Chad Daybell?
Yes,
Approximately when did you meet him?
about 3-4 years ago.
It was too earlier, just in
Do you remember
later.
where you met him?
Yes, I was in Morgan, Utah.
Okay.
I thought it was St. George.
Since you've met him,
Whoa.
what is the nature of your relationship?
Well,
The nature of our relationship
don't answer the question.
was talking about some of the books that Chad had written and
No.
his relationship with Lori.
Well, why would you talk to him about that? If you met him 2 to 3 years ago, we should have done this a long time
You
ago.
mentioned Lori. Is that Lori Vallow?
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry, David.
Approximately when did you meet Lori Vallow?
October 2018.
And do you recall where you met her?
Yeah, Jason Mount called her from the temple, and he was like, "I got one."
Yes, in Mesa, Arizona, at a church.
Okay.
In the temple.
What was the basis of your relationship with Lori Vallow?
It was based upon things that we talked about, which were spiritual in nature.
Yeah.
Would you call yourself, were you
Spiritual warrior.
friends with Lori Vallow?
Yes.
Are you familiar, or do you know if Lori Vallow had any children?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Tylee Ryan?
Yes.
Well,
Did
not
you ever
now.
meet Tylee Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, master. Yes.
And did you ever have opportunity to see Tylee Ryan with Lori Vallow?
Yes.
And was Tylee Ryan Lori Vallow's daughter?
Yes.
I do have to say that Rob, his presence in the courtroom now is nothing like this. He's a lot more put together, in my opinion.
When was the last time you saw Tylee Ryan?
July or August of 2019
Where was that?
in her house in Chandler, Arizona.
Okay. Are you familiar
Stay
with
here,
JJ
stay
Vallow?
here.
Yes.
We're all
Who
cousins.
is JJ
trust me.
Vallow?
Lori's adopted son.
Okay. When you spent time with Lori, did
I'll do
you
that, Steve.
have occasion to spend time with JJ at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, everybody does think that's my mom. It's not though. It's the court reporter. I thought so too. And I was like, why is she right there? Yeah, I've watched this thing one too many times. And so yeah, my good friend Sue Ellen. While we're sitting here chit chatting and listening to this hooker, let me know where you're from. Let me know what connected you with the case. That's always been something that just I don't know. It just warms my heart. I just like to hear that kind of stuff. So let me know. Oh, thank you, Teresa.
Ms. Gibb, I want to call your attention to, well,
I straight up told that to the Lyft driver today. Lori, new name, Idaho. Oh crap! I got to go over there and see it. It left me. She says, "Okay, come on." It says Lori's new name, Idaho, and Chad Balchin. I am from Men in Black. Oh, right. Oh my God. I just wait for them to come zap me, right? But no, I straight up told the Lyft driver today or whatever. I was like, she's in the right state. I'm like, Idaho. Anyways, that's just me and my corny asshole self. But anyways, it's if it's shoe fits, you know. Thank you for the super chat.
do you recall where you were
All right.
between the dates of September 19th,
I thought you moved to Oklahoma.
2019 and September 23rd, 2019?
Yes.
Where were you?
Rexburg, Idaho.
Why were you there?
Yeah, why?
I was there to visit Lori. I was also there to be at an event called Firm Foundation.
And so
Okay. When did
So KJ, this is Firm Foundation and the Book of Mormon Evidence.com or whatever, Book of Mormon Evidence.org. That's Rod Meldrum. Rod Meldrum, he was kind of like, okay, at one point in time, Preparing a People were together. You know, that's Mike and Nancy James that own Preparing a People. And they became Latter-day Media. They have all kinds of companies. So they build these wall systems in Utah. I mean, they do all kinds of things. Okay. And so Rod Meldrum, there is well, you probably wouldn't watch it though, but it's on Mormon Stories podcast, and John Dehlin has Rod Meldrum on there. Rod Meldrum ran around in the same circle. And you know what? I found out that I mean, and I was going to share it, and I was like, yeah, I don't think it's the right thing to do. But I meant like, I can tell you about it. So Rod Meldrum's son OD'd, and it was from that kid there was some guy in Utah or whatever, and they had like some Ponzi scheme, and they were like getting fentanyl in from over, like getting it mailed to their homes. I don't know the guy's name. Crap. But anyways, so their son OD'd, and the date that I saw that article, that they published that article, was of Rod Meldrum and his wife. I think her name's Tanya Holyoke Meldrum. She's an energy healer. And they were holding a picture of their son. And it was on September 9th, 2019. And I was like, but that's when it was published. He was firm foundationing it up, though. No, I don't know. No, that's JJ's weekend. God dang. See, sometimes I think I have it figured out, and sometimes I don't. I don't trust none of them. I don't. But I have fireside chats with him in it. He was real. He's buds with Sean Little Bear, and I don't trust Sean Little Bear at all.
Do you recall when you arrived in Rexburg?
Thursday, the 19th.
And do you know approximately when you left Rexburg?
Yes, I left Monday, the 23rd, around 9:30 in the morning.
When you were in Rexburg, where did you stay?
In Lori Vallow's house.
Do you recall the address of that house?
No.
Okay, so here I go down to the technicalities, because y'all know how they're technical people, and how Lori's like, I was in my apartment. Was she in the one she actually rented? Or was she in the one that she pretended to rent? That her brother, Alex Cox, rented? Because that was interesting today. Not surprising, but interesting. So, I forgot where I was going with that, but it was something she said.
When you were in Rexburg, where did you stay?
In Lori Vallow's house.
Yeah, so
Do you
did she
recall
say
the address of
which
that
one?
house?
No.
No, she don't. She's dumb.
Do you recall the general location of that house?
No.
It was a townhome. I don't know the name.
How
of the
far was
street.
it from the temple?
Okay. Was that townhome located in Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
She said from
During that
9:18,
weekend,
y'all, or 9:19.
did you have
Maybe.
opportunity to spend time with Lori?
Yes.
Okay. About how much time did you spend with Lori that weekend?
Oh,
Most of the time, except for
I'm
on
watching my
Saturday, I spent most of the day, about 10 hours,
up
up the street at that event.
Okay. When you were at Lori Vallow's house, did you ever have occasion to see Chad Daybell there?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, watch him mean mug her ass.
Do you recall approximately how many times you saw him there that weekend?
He got resting bitch face. Look, you saw that?
2,
What?
3, 4
It's
times.
interesting. Boom.
Saw him there that weekend.
Boom. I mean, it's like somebody
Times
pulled
you
his
saw him there that
eyebrows up.
weekend.
Me. He's like, yeah.
2, 3, 4
Melanie.
times maybe.
He's giving her the
You
same.
don't recall an exact number.
Not an exact number, but I think every day. I think every day is except for
Alright.
the Monday.
Thank
Okay.
you
And
for
was
coming back.
Monday, September 23rd?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have occasion to witness
Hey,
Lori Vallow and Chad
Robin.
Daybell interact with each other?
Yes.
How did they interact with each other?
Affectionately.
Some whores.
Okay, and when you say affectionately, what do you mean by that?
Holding
Soaking,
hands.
petting.
Hugging, light kissing.
Okay. Did you ever have occasion to speak with,
My dad's birthday is September 19th. Happy birthday to you, PJ. You and my dad have a good birthday.
when you were, during this approximately 4-day period in September, did you ever have occasion to speak with Lori Vallow about the nature of her relationship with Chad Daybell?
Yes, we talked about it often.
Yeah, not morally.
What did she tell you about that relationship?
That
They were
we
gonna do
were
it
very much in
times
love
a
with
day.
each other and wanted to be together as soon as possible.
Okay. And did you ever speak with Mr. Daybell about that relationship?
Most likely, but I can't recall the exact words.
Hey, Mel O, that's the first time I've ever seen anybody say chud and dud throughout this whole thing. I've never noticed anybody put chud and dud together. I call them cholo. That because I'm tired of writing all their names or CNL. It gets old.
Okay. Ms. Gibb, during that September 19th to 23rd, 2019 period,
Hey,
did you ever see Tylee Ryan?
No,
Did you
Right.
speak with Lori Vallow about the location of Tylee Ryan?
she informed me that
Exactly, Lee. Here, I look that way, so my microphone's way over here. There had to be more men. Oh, I'll have to go back over there so I can catch it. I'm watching the comments on my TV because StreamYard don't have it together yet where you can do both and pause things while you're doing it. I love you, JLL. I know you got to work in the morning. Thank you so much for being here. They all slept together. She kissed Chum too. Ugh. Can you imagine? Okay, so this is I only read the first sentence, but there had to be Mormon involved in this cult. Chad Chunder was not going to be the overlord of all these pretty blonde women. No way. Exactly. Logic, right? It doesn't make sense. Oh, I don't tolerate you, okie dokie. I love you. Let's see. Y'all tolerate me, if anything. Damn. But I think a whole lot of men who wear robes are involved in this, but that's me. It's just my gut feeling. Ritual murder.
Tylee was at BYU, Idaho,
Nope.
and mentioned something about being with friends.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When you were during that same period, did you have occasion to see JJ Vallow?
Yes,
Where was he located when you saw him?
he was in the
Sure.
family room mostly, and then outside some.
Okay, when you say the family room, can you be more specific?
The room that's
The living room.
adjacent to the kitchen,
Okay, and what home was that located in?
Lori Ballow's home.
All right. Now I gotta go find where prior
Ms. Gibb, I want to call your
Prior.
attention
Cross-
to the night of September
crosses her.
22nd,
Or whatever.
2019. Do you recall
Melanie
what you
Gibb'S.
did that night?
Ms. Gibb, you're facing the state. I'm going to invite you to turn your chair just a little bit so that I can
This way?
see
Oh,
She's
this
so
way?
this way,
awkward
so
though,
that I can
y'all,
see your
right?
face as you're speaking. I
She
recognize you're
turns and
answering
looks
Mr.
like a
Wood's
damn judge.
questions, but I need to see your face as
Weird.
well as you're answering. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Weird lady. Weird lady.
What did you do the night of September 22nd, 2019?
The night of the 22nd, I was doing a recording with Lori and David Warwick,
I want to see it.
and we were in the kitchen
Hear it.
recording that.
Who is David Warwick?
He is a boyfriend of mine.
And you were recording a podcast?
Yes.
Allegedly.
Was
Look
Mr.
at her,
Daybell
she's so
there
weird.
during the recording of that podcast?
No.
Do you recall if JJ Vallow was there during the
She don't
recording of
recall
that
shit.
podcast?
I did not see him.
Did you see Alex Cox that night?
Yes.
Of course you did.
What did
All
you
right.
witness, or what did you observe Alex Cox doing that night?
Let me go on my history.
He brought JJ into the house during the middle of the podcast.
Okay.
I just want to see if this lines
And-
up real quick.
And did you see him bring JJ into the house?
Yes.
Okay.
Can y'all hear it? Because it seems.
How
weird.
did Alex Cox bring JJ into the house?
He carried him in.
How do you know? You
when he
saw
was
him?
asleep.
And
Judge, this may have occurred, but I'm trying to get a foundation as to the time again. I may have missed it.
Yeah, me too.
And I apologize if I missed it.
Mr. Breyer, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Do you mind pulling
I'm
your
having a hard time
microphone
hearing all
down
y'all.
and then aiming it up at your chin? So, there you go. Repeat that one more time.
Judge, I missed the time, and I can't recall what time she said if she did.
I
When,
can't recall.
That occurred with Alex bringing the baby in. I don't recall.
Okay.
I'll lay more foundation, Your Honor.
I didn't know if you did or not. I thought I may have missed it.
Please do.
Where is it?
Ms. Gibb, do you recall about what time Alex Cox brought JJ back into to Lori Vallow's home?
I can say we recorded the podcast between 9 and after midnight, a little after midnight. So
After
someone between
midnight.
nine.
Okay. You don't remember the exact hour?
I don't.
She don't remember shit. Straight up.
though.
She don't know her name.
I'm going to call your attention to the morning of September 23rd, 2019.
She's gonna try and forget. Don't
What
worry.
did you do during the morning of September 23rd, 2019?
Upon awakening, I got ready for the day and came downstairs, had a brief conversation with Lori Vallow, and then got into the truck with David, and we drove off.
She was like,
to
"Bye,
Hoboken.
Mom," and she was like, "Bye, Phoenix."
What was your conversation? Do you recall the content of your conversation with Lori Vallow that morning?
Yes,
No,
Do
he,
you recall
he does not.
approximately what
Hold on.
time you have these?
Janet, Crusher, does prior sound, does prior sound so annoying when he speaks with people in the courtroom, or is this all an act? I think it's his show face. Because, I mean, he seems like a cool dude, not even playing. I can't believe I'm saying that. Don't hold it against me, y'all. I'm not saying about his character. I mean, he can't help. Yeah, you can. You can help who you represent. But again, out of all these attorneys, just being honest, I've seen him just go above and beyond, which also makes me question things, but I try not to go too far out of the realm. But he seems to be the most passionate, you know. I'd pick him out of all of these duds, just if I had to make a choice. So I mean, he was dressed in regular clothes today, so that was different. He's preparing for his case, you know.
This conversation with Lori Vallow?
sometime between 8 and 9.
Okay. What did you speak about with Ms. Vallow that morning?
She shared with David and I that JJ was
Why?
acting with a lot of energy and
Not a
I'm trying
zombie.
to remember the words, but she recalled him
I'm a fat.
climbing upon the
do that.
refrigerator, knocking a picture down of Jesus, she said, and then climbing up upon the cabinets.
Verbatim, just like
And
your old man.
Did you see JJ that morning?
No,
Do you know if he was in the house that morning?
no,
And do you have any idea where he was that morning?
No,
no.
she'll know where she is.
Over the course of that weekend, did you ever have a conversation with Lori Vallow about Kay Woodcock?
Yes,
What was the nature of that?
Get
Do
my
you
mama's
remember
name out your mouth.
when during that weekend you had that conversation?
Friday, Saturday, it could have been
Okay.
several of the days, I'm not sure.
What was the nature of that conversation?
She was expressing that she wanted JJ to go live with Kay, and she expressed different solutions. He could either stay with Kay, or I believe a son of Kay's that had a family already that JJ was comfortable with, or that they liked JJ and it was a good match. I think they had a little girl,
Good
and
match.
she said that she would express to Kay that he was that she was sick or something was wrong with her, so that she could live with him.
That says a whole nother thing about Lori and or Melanie, who said, "I have cancer." You ain't got to say you have an illness for my mom and Larry to take. Really, these people are twisted.
So that who could live with?
JJ could live with Kay.
Okay. And at
Outside.
any time after that weekend, did you ever have a follow-up conversation in regards to that subject?
Yes,
Bye,
Do you remember
Denise.
approximately when you had that follow-up conversation?
it was shortly after. I can't recall.
What was the nature of that follow-up conversation?
I asked how it went getting JJ to Kay. She told me that they met up in an airport, and she told Kay that she had breast cancer and that she would need help with JJ for a period of time. And she said it went well.
So was it your understanding after that
Bye,
conversation
KJ.
that JJ Vallow was located with Kay Woodcock?
Yes,
And had you ever met Kay Woodcock?
briefly.
When?
The time that Charles.
Oh, this person does. Okay. I didn't catch that though, Janet. So she just said delivers, because I was always perturbed by the way she said Kay received him. And David Warwick's tender, when he says tender. I mean, I just don't speak that I don't speak that way. Kind of like how when Melanie Gibb went to the cop station, with Lori and Tylee, and she was like, my uncle told her, well, you deceived me. Or she told my uncle, I don't know, whatever she said. Yes, I deceived you is what, Anyways, I'm like, my uncle didn't talk like a nerd. He didn't talk like that. He did not, and they say some weird words, but the fact that you call it deliver and receive, interesting. And I've watched this a bazillion times.
Told Kay that she had breast cancer and that she would need help with JJ for a period of time, and she said it went well.
Okay. So was it your understanding after that conversation that JJ Vallow was located with Kay Woodcock?
Yes,
And had you ever met Kay Woodcock?
briefly.
When?
The time that Charles Vallow was moving out of his house in Arizona to Texas,
And who was Charles Vallow?
Lori's husband.
Okay.
Oh, because I sped it up.
Ms. Gibb, I'm going to call
You
your
don't like
attention
her.
to the date of November 26, 2019. Do you recall where you
I
were,
guess I didn't go
where
back
you were
there.
on November 26, 2019?
I do.
Where were you?
She
I
recalls
was in
that, but
Pleasant Grove, Utah, in David Warwick's home.
she don't recall other things.
Do you live in
And
do you
hell,
live in Utah?
No,
Where do you normally live?
Gilbert, Arizona.
Okay. And so were you visiting Mr. Warwick that day?
Yes.
Did anything significant happen that day in regards to Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Okay. What contact, if any, did you have with Mr.
I think
Daybell
she's
that
on
day?
Xanax.
I received a phone call from Chad Daybell from his cell phone to my cell phone, and
Obviously.
I answered the phone call.
Okay.
What?
Do you recall approximately what time it was?
Late morning.
And you said you got a call
Oh,
from
look
his
at
cell
him.
phone?
Mhm.
In her stank
How do you know it was his
eye.
cell
Or are you
phone?
going to sleep? I don't know.
Because when the phone number came up, it had his name on it.
Okay, and was that a contact you had previously stored in your cell phone?
Yes.
Can we have those cell
And-
phones? No, we can't.
Was
Good night, sweet dreams, detective's daughter.
Ms. Gibb, had you previously had any discussions with Mr. Daybell?
Yeah, what
through that
does she?
same phone number?
If she's a child care, if she does child care, I'm gonna go livid. Oh my God. I'm just saying, I don't know. Her ex-husband was a chiropractor, just like Summy's.
Yes.
Do you recall what that phone number was?
Yes. It was 208-690-9374.
I know, Maxine.
And I may have already asked this, I apologize if I did. Approximately what time were you called by Mr. Daybell?
You're right.
Late-
I'm gonna
late
leave
morning.
it up to John Pryor because
What was the nature of that call?
he busts.
Responding to
Understand my concern, correct?
Oh no, I don't feel like doing that one. Here we
it
go.
was just Officer Pryor, a pillar.
Because these
no.
things, like
No.
You'll pull that microphone up to your chin and aim it at your chin again.
She's cocky this day. This is the day she talked to my
Mr.
parent.
Pryor, you may inquire on cross-examination when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Pryor, in looking at some of the recording last night, I noticed that the one audio that we couldn't hear very well was yours. So again, if you don't mind making
Put the
your
microphone in your
look like
mouth.
this, it will record it a
that's
lot
so
better if it's
helpful.
pointed at your chin. I know it looks weird. That's the way to do it.
It really don't.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
And Ms. Gibbs, can you hear me as well?
Yes.
This is whenever he hears voices in the corner.
Ms. Gibbs, Ms. Gibb, I apologize.
Oh, thank you, Chad.
When did you first meet Mr. Daybell?
About, I think 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, if I reflect, the information I have is that you were at a preparedness camp in July of
So,
2017.
Hold on, because over here she says, share this tab instead. She says,
And
5 minutes from each other.
did you meet her?
I met her at Lori's house.
Do you recall approximately when that would have been?
I would say within a week or two after I met Lori.
Did you ever observe Lori and Tylee together?
Yes.
What were you able to observe about their interactions?
I was called an interference.
She seemed upset and frustrated with Lori pretty much most of the time.
So, and when you say she, you're referring to Tylee?
Tylee, correct.
Good night, Janet.
Did there appear to be some tension in that relationship?
Yes,
Chud the could.
Did you ever meet an individual named JJ Vallow?
I did.
I wish you
And-
hadn't.
And where would you have met him if you recall?
Same place, Lori's house.
Do you recall approximately when you would have met him?
Within a week or two after meeting her.
Did you have occasion to observe Lori and JJ's interactions with each other?
I did.
And what observations were you able to make of those interactions?
So sometimes I would watch her with him, and she was very affectionate and loving to him. I watched her sing a song to him as she was going to put him to bed. She seemed to care a lot about him. And other times, as you know, I got to know her as time went on. He seemed to, frustrated, and so the connection, maybe wasn't as.
Okay, I'm gonna skip.
After
through.
first meeting Lori, we've talked about that you stayed in contact with her. How often would the two of you see each other?
Sometimes it was daily or several times a week in the beginning, just in the very beginning. Yeah.
Okay, so that
And when you say in the
corroborates.
very beginning, do you recall approximately how long the two of you would interact that frequently?
I would say until January. And then when she started moving, then I didn't see her as much or talk to her as much.
And when you say January, do you recall what year that would have been?
2019.
Did you and Lori live fairly close to each other?
I would say within 20, 25 minutes from each other.
And did the two of you talked about you'd get together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you also speak to her over the phone during those times?
Correct.
Okay,
Did you also
and then
message with her, text message?
Okay.
Often.
skip forward.
And after meeting Lori, you indicated you met her in October of 2018. Did the two of you end up taking a trip to Utah?
Yes.
And who else went with you?
Jonah.
There was, I don't know, about 5 or 6
What year?
ladies. I can't recall their names right
Ever.
now.
2 years.
And that's just
Yeah.
fine, just what you can
Yeah,
recall.
I can't recall their names.
So there were 5 or 6 ladies that
Mhm.
went to Utah together.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Where did you go in Utah?
We went to St. George, Utah.
And what were you headed there for? Was there a reason?
There was a conference there.
She said what? Morgan, Utah earlier. I don't know.
And do you recall if Chad Daybell was also at that conference?
He was.
Did you observe a meeting between Chad and Lori?
Yes.
At the temple
Do you know, had they ever met before?
in a previous
No.
life.
Were you there when they first met?
I believe so. I was there with her the whole time.
Did they, how long was the conference that you were at?
It was the weekend, so it was like a Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday most people went home.
But
So it was that weekend.
And do you recall if Chad Daybell was there for the entirety of the conference?
He was there Friday and Saturday.
Were you and Lori there Friday and Saturday as well?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, we were in the area till Sunday. We stayed at somebody's home, but the conference was Friday and Saturday. And it could have been a Sunday evening, but I can't recall that
Can't
right now.
recall.
But he was gone by, if I remember, he was gone by Sunday morning or Saturday night, something like that.
Were you able to observe Lori and Chad together throughout the time that they were both there?
Yes.
And what, if any, observations did you make of their interactions?
They were very friendly to each other, very interactive, talking a lot about some of their ideas and beliefs that they had at that time. And so they were, there was definitely attraction in the beginning, right from the beginning. So.
Mhm.
And did you specifically observe any of Lori's actions towards Chad or how her demeanor appeared?
She seemed very interested in him, like someone that would meet somebody they're attracted to. She seemed flattered by him and very enticed by the conversation and,
All right, I'm trying to get.
flirty-like. I would say a little flirty-like as well.
And do you know what Chad Daybell did for a living?
He was an author and a publisher and also a sexton.
And
Just tell a guy.
had you ever read any of his books?
I have.
Do you know if Miss Vallow Daybell had read any of his books?
She had.
And do you know if she'd read those books prior to meeting him?
She only read, I think, just a few, but she hadn't read all of his books. And I don't know if she made the connections yet of who he was with the books. I'm not sure about that.
Mm-mm-mm.
And you indicated that you saw them speaking and they appeared to have some shared interests,
Correct.
and specifically with some religion, some religious talk.
Correct.
Do you recall if they told you anything regarding the two of them?
Yes.
And what was that?
He expressed to her that he believed that they had been married in multiple probations on this
I'm going to
planet.
object as to hearsay, Judge.
Now I'm going to fast forward that.
It's the response. That's how that's allowed, Ms. Blake. I would have some additional time. Those statements are allowed.
At the moment.
So after the first meeting, did you speak to Lori about her meeting Chad?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. I was pulling up David Warwick's too.
And when you were speaking with Lori, what, if anything, did she indicate to you that she and Chad had talked about with regard to the two of them?
She shared with me that he told her that they had been married in
She talks too slow.
another time period.
And did she tell you what she believed with regard to that?
Did you tell her that you were her
She-
daughter?
She did believe that. She had already had the belief system that this multiple lives, as they would call it,
It's lives, not
Um,
lives.
she'd already believed that before she physically met him.
And backing up a little bit to that, how had Miss Vallow Daybell ever told you anything regarding her beliefs about a prior probation or multiple creations?
And here we go.
She wasn't quite clear in her understanding at that point. She felt, and she shared with me, that she had been married to a prophet from the Book of Mormon named Moroni.
And did she share this information with you before she ever met Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Wait, before she ever met him? She was married to him?
After that conference,
What?
did you end up staying in contact with Chad Daybell?
Yes, I talked to him, communicate somehow, very periodically, not very often.
And I think you already indicated you and Lori would communicate quite frequently after that.
Correct.
Do you know if Lori and Chad stayed in touch after that conference?
Yes, they did.
And how do you know that?
She would tell me that they talked and how often they talked. And I often saw her on the phone talking to him. Occasionally I could hear his voice, but she'd always indicate to me she was speaking to him.
Okay.
When they first met, do you know if Lori was married?
I'm going to scoot to here.
Would Lori tell you that she and Chad talked about the multiple probations?
Yes.
Here.
And what was your understanding of what Lori and Chad believed regarding multiple probations?
Okay.
Their definitions changed the longer they knew each other, but in the beginning it was believed that in this earth you could come back multiple times. So you may live in, a certain earlier time in the world and then several times, depending
feel it
on
too.
you as a person. It would be different for everybody.
Me too, Kathy, but I
After
want to see
Chad
the
and
two of them.
Lori met in October of 2018, do you know
Well, I have
the
more
next time they saw
than
each other in person?
I believe it was 2 weekends later. He came to town for another event that was in Arizona.
I think so too, Donna.
Did you attend that event?
I did.
Were both Lori and Chad present?
They were.
Do you recall if there was another get-together held separate from the event?
This is it.
Yes. at Lori's house, there was like a little,
So this is when they ordain Zalema, right? And Zalema's on the stand saying, calling an election. And that is all second anointing talk. It's Mormon speak. It is LDS speak. It is Mormonese. So I know. Y'all know I like to bust them on the religious stuff because y'all I feel like the church is involved. So let me share this tab instead. We're gonna go here.
Call David Warwick.
He sounds like a damn
Mr. Warwick, if you'll come forward, stand in front of the plexiglass,
transformer.
raise your right arm and face the clerk.
Yes. Don't raise your right arm to the square. Everybody run.
Mr. Warwick, you can be seated right here.
He sounds like a
This
cyborg.
box.
All
You can take off your mask.
right, come on.
Okay.
It's gonna take
So,
10 years just to get him settled in.
Approximately, yeah. Okay.
Wait. My bad.
Spell it.
Warwick.
David Dale Warwick.
Mr. Warwick, how long have you known Chad Daybell?
We've crossed paths several times in the last 5 years.
So approximately 5 years.
What's that?
So you've known him approximately.
Approximately,
5 years.
yeah.
Okay. And are you familiar with Lori Vallow Daybell?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you familiar with Lori Vallow Daybell?
Yes,
When did you meet her?
I met her first week of August, 2019,
Where
Right
was,
after Martha's murder.
at her home,
where was her home?
Gilbert, Arizona.
Okay.
I'm sure they had to go bless the
Chad
house.
Daybell there?
Yes,
Mr. Warwick, have you ever met Tylee Ryan?
no,
Have you met JJ? When did you meet JJ Vallow?
I met JJ Vallow on September 21st, 2019.
All right.
Where was that?
That was at her town, Lori's town home in Rexburg.
Okay. Why were you there?
I was invited, I was coming up for a conference, and I was invited to stay there instead of renting a hotel room.
Okay, that lines
And,
up.
so that's why I was there.
Okay. When did
You were there
arrive
because
there?
what?
I arrived Friday night about 7:30.
And you said you were there for a conference, correct?
Say that again?
You said you were there for a conference, correct?
Yeah, the conference was on Saturday. And so,
And you attended that conference, correct?
yes,
It was all weekend.
While you were there, how often did you see Chad Daybell?
at the condo or over the weekend.
Just the whole time.
Over the
Sorry.
Dumb
weekend?
dumb.
3 times that I can recall.
Okay. How many times did you see him in Lori's home?
He's not gonna tell you the truth. Really? No. See, I want to move, lady. He was fine.
We have a listening device here. I
Ah,
can tell that
yes.
maybe you're a little bit hard of hearing.
He wasn't hard of
I
hearing this time.
We appreciate you
Aquaman.
being here. We want to accommodate
Aquaman.
you. Do you mind if we try this hearing device to see if it's a little bit easier for you to hear?
Okay.
He's so ugly.
And to make sure that you can hear.
Yes.
Okay. I don't recall if you answered my last question. How many times did,
Speaking of the mic.
over the weekend of September 20th through the 23rd, how many times did you see the defendant Chad Daybell at Lori's house?
Once.
Okay. When was that?
That would be Sunday, the 22nd.
Okay.
So at Lori's
You have
townhome,
opportunity.
right? Right? Is this whenever the scratch came about? Why is my thing not working over here?
22nd.
Okay.
I mean,
Daybell at Lori's house?
Once.
Okay. When was that?
That would be Sunday, the 22nd.
Sunday the 22nd.
Did you have opportunity to visit with Mr. Daybell?
I did.
What did you speak about?
Why got a scratch on his neck from JJ? Why was
I
cheating on
asked
his
him
wife?
about his relationship with Tammy.
Who was Tammy?
I like the comment that never trust a guy who parts his hair straight down the middle. I'm silly like that. That made me laugh. Thank you. Oh god dang, it's not working like it is. He's just dead inside. Because he's got hearing aids in his ears.
Mr. Warwick,
Dum dum. He's a dum dum.
did you see JJ Vallow in Lori's apartment?
I did.
Did you interact with him at all?
I tried to a couple of times.
Okay. How did that go?
It was like I wasn't even there.
No, you're not.
He didn't acknowledge me at all.
Because you're a piece of
Okay.
shit.
And you're aware that he had autism, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Do you recall the night of September 22nd, 2019?
Yes.
What did you do that
Just his
night?
dream.
I was doing a podcast with Melanie Gibb'S and Vallow.
Was JJ there when you did your podcast?
No.
Why not?
Did you see him at all that night?
Yes.
When was that?
He don't know.
When he was staying with Alex. and
Thought he
Alex
came got him.
brought him home and carried him to bed. So
Okay.
when the door opened, that's when
I think that's me. You were just talking about, I believe, Mr. Cox bringing JJ into Lori's house.
yes.
That's why I don't think JJ was
Do
dead
you
here.
recall what time?
I don't know what to think because they lie.
Don't recall it exactly.
Okay.
Just later in the night.
Okay. Was Chad Daybell there?
What's that?
Was Chad Daybell there at that same time?
No.
Let's talk about the morning of September 23rd, 2019. What did you do that morning?
I got up to get ready to go. Then I went downstairs to say goodbye to everybody.
Okay. And who was there?
Everybody. Who? Lori? Oh, I mean, Lori and JJ?
Melanie Gibb'S and Vallow.
Okay.
No, she left with you. She flew
Did
in.
you see JJ there?
No,
Did you talk to Lori about JJ that morning?
I did.
What?
What did she tell Lori about JJ that morning?
I did.
Okay.
What did she tell you about JJ that morning?
She said that he was being a zombie and climbed up on the cabinets,
So
climbed
detailed.
up on top of the fridge, smashed her picture of Christ down, and then climbed up onto the upper cabinets and got between the top of the cabinet and the ceiling.
Too detailed.
Okay. And then what did she tell you?
What do y'all think?
I asked to see him, and she just said that
Why? He didn't see you. You know, JJ didn't see you. He didn't acknowledge you. So, ooh, this dude pisses. I'm more triggered with David Warwick than I am Melanie.
And then what did she tell you?
I asked to see him, and she just said that he was out of control. So she had Alex come and get him.
And
Again.
who was Alex?
Lori's
See, that's
brother.
what I'm saying. Like, I always just assumed. So when he got him again, like after they were, throwing down, with their awesome ass podcast that we've never heard. I'm sure it's gross. Just like the other ones that are around the murders. It's like they go simultaneously together. They go to temples, and that's part of the translation process anyways, is to visit all these temples. And I remember finding in my Uncle Charles's stuff, which was Lori's stuff at one time. And it was a book about the temples, and I was just like, oh, wow. I wonder if that's something that she bought, while being with Chad. And I don't trust these assholes.
And who was Alex?
Lori's
A
brother.
piece of shit.
Okay. Is that Alex Cox?
Yes.
So Alex came got him twice, I guess. I mean, am I
Did she tell you?
misunderstanding that?
I asked to see him and
Okay.
And then what did she tell you?
I asked to see him and she just said that he was out of control. So she had Alex come and get him.
And who was Alex?
Lori's brother.
Okay. Is that
Destroyer.
Alex Cox?
Yes.
Destroying angel. Come on. We ain't got time for chitter chatter.
State has no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank God.
Cross-examination. Mr. Pryor, if you'll please speak as close as you possibly can to that microphone. I
God, shut up.
think it's going to be a lot easier to.
Ask me to state it again, please, sir, would you?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Warwick, would it be a fair statement that Mr. Daybell only showed up the entire weekend from the 19th to the 23rd at Lori Vallow's apartment one time?
That's what I got.
That's what I can remember.
That's all it took.
So to suggest, or if anyone suggested that he was in and out of there multiple times, that's just not a true statement, would it? Is that correct?
I'm not sure about that either. I know I saw Chad throughout the weekend at least 3 times. I'm trying to remember if it was twice at
It was
Lori's
an
or
Invisible
other
church.
places because we went to other properties.
But when someone suggests multiple times, that means more than 3 or 4 times.
No, here we go.
Objection.
Here we go.
It means more than once. to me.
Hold up.
Foundation and it's testimonial.
Hold up. So
They're
Mr.
gonna
Warwick,
argue about
uh,
if
how many
there's an
times.
objection, and then we'll
So,
3 or 4 times, something to.
It's testimonial.
For us to clarify what
it's in contest.
He doesn't get to create.
all of the testimonies.
Definition of multiple times is.
More than once.
Okay. So 2 times is multiple times.
Yeah, 2 times to be multiple times. And,
Okay.
you know, I'm just trying to be going off the best of my memory.
Okay.
To be honest.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Another excuse.
There was one of those multiple times, the 2 or 3 times you saw Mr. Daybell was viewing a piece of property. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was at what time? That was on the Sunday, the 22nd?
It was a Sunday. It was Sunday. I can't remember if it was late morning or afternoon.
Yeah, ask if it was a damn 22nd.
At that real estate discussion.
First, it was Lori Vallow, Alex Cox,
Mm-hmm.
Melanie Gibb'S, and then Chad showed up later with a realtor.
Okay. And where was
Okay.
that located? That
I need this freaking realtor.
It was.
May I offer a suggestion,
Well, I'm
Chief?
trying to.
May I offer a suggestion that it was at a piece of property close to Chad Daybell's?
Yes.
80
So
acre.
at that point, Ms. Vallow
Where's
and,
JJ?
your girlfriend at the time, Ms. Gibb, were there. Then you showed up, and then Mr. Daybell showed up with a real estate agent and himself. So there were 5 of you there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how long of a meeting was that, sir?
It was imaginary. Should have been long.
I'd estimate 30 minutes.
Okay. And when did that meeting end approximately? And I don't need an exact idea, but a ballpark as to when you felt that meeting ended.
When he didn't see there was a
I
church.
really don't recall.
Okay. And then after that meeting on the
That needed building.
late afternoon, early afternoon?
I really don't recall. I'm
Okay.
trying to.
Was it?
Well, hurry. We got time.
If it was morning, I would say it was late.
Okay. But at some point, the meeting ended, and then did Mr. Daybell go back to Lori Vallow's apartment at that point?
No.
How you know you
Did
left?
Vallow and your girlfriend go back to Lori Vallow's apartment?
No, she left with me.
Well, everybody had separate cars, so
Not Melanie. Unless she drove her broom.
we all just kind of went our different directions.
Okay. At some point, did all of you meet back at Lori Vallow's apartment that evening?
Please repeat.
I'm sorry?
I couldn't understand the question.
At some point later that evening, did you, Miss Vallow, and your girlfriend, Miss Gibb, go back to Lori Vallow's apartment that night?
Yes,
And you did a podcast? Is
The
that
Sunday
correct?
night?
yes.
And that was what day, sir?
Sunday night,
Okay.
22nd.
Okay, and on Sunday night, the 22nd, did you see JJ Vallow?
No,
What the?
Did
What
you
the fuck?
stay with your girlfriend the entire time during that podcast?
yes,
And she was with you the entire time, is
Lie.
that correct?
yes,
So if if you didn't see JJ Vallow, the likelihood is that she wouldn't have seen JJ Vallow either. Would that be fair, sir?
Calls for speculation, objection.
Wait.
Can I ask a clarification? Oh, sorry.
Hold up.
I'm
there, Mr.
being
Warwick.
nice.
There's been an
Christina.
objection, calls for speculation. Mr. Pryor, I'll give you a chance to respond to that objection.
Did I hear that right? He just said that he
The
was.
entire time, is that
He
correct?
didn't see JJ.
Okay, and on Sunday night, the 22nd.
When Uncle
did you-
Alex.
Sunday night,
You did a podcast, is that correct?
yes,
And that was what day, sir?
Sunday night, the 22nd.
Okay, and on Sunday night, the 22nd, did you see JJ Vallow?
No,
Did you stay with your girlfriend the entire time during that podcast?
I mean,
yes,
And she was with you the entire time, is that correct?
yes,
So if you saw, if you didn't see JJ
Right,
Vallow,
MK.
the likelihood is that she wouldn't have seen JJ Vallow either. Would that be fair, sir?
Calls for speculation, objection.
shit.
can I ask a clarification? Oh, sorry.
Oh, you don't get
Hold
it.
up there, Mr. Warwick.
Well,
There's been an objection.
Look at his
calls for
shadow there.
Clarification? Oh, sorry.
Hold up there, Mr. Warwick. There's been an objection, calls for speculation. Mr. Pryor, I'll give you a chance to respond.
Time and whether, is it possible that she could have observed JJ Vallow on that night, being that he was with her the entire time during the podcast? I don't think that's inappropriate in any way.
I don't think it is either.
I will allow
I
the
hate being
question.
on
Why don't you please repeat it very
those-
clearly so Mr. Warwick understands?
And Mr. Warwick, since you were with Melanie Gibb the entire
Your
time
girlfriend.
during that podcast, if she were to say that she saw JJ Vallow, you would have seen JJ Vallow as well. Would that be fair, sir?
Yes,
From the same people who say they see Christ.
Does not judge.
Overruled.
Look at his eyebrows. Weird.
At some point, over the weekend, this is a 3-bedroom townhome, is that correct?
yes,
Exactly.
Well, Ms.
Juniper.
Vallow was staying in one room, right?
yes,
And you were staying in another room, correct?
yes,
Was anybody else staying in any of the other rooms?
yes.
Who?
Melanie,
And whose room was she
I
staying
agree,
in?
Grammy B.
Tylee's,
Okay, and you were staying in whose?
JJ's.
They were soaking. I said it.
Are you aware of whether or not your girlfriend has any kind of an auditory disorder or been diagnosed with a hearing?
She's got chlamydia.
Please repeat.
Are you aware of whether or not your girlfriend
Yeah,
has any
Maria
kind of
P.
an auditory or hearing disorder of any kind?
Objection beyond the scope, relevance.
She's dumb.
Mr. Pryor?
Very
Judge,
relevant.
it goes to perception of whether or not either of them can hear properly. I think it's proper examination.
They're all
This
dumb.
witness testified a certain way, and I want this witness to
Shut
come
up.
perfectly within my right to inquire about that.
With the objection beyond an
Come on.
auditory disorder.
You're aware of Mr. Daybell's writings, is that correct?
Please,
You're familiar with Mr. Daybell's writings, is that correct?
Look at him.
Objection beyond the scope. We never asked that.
Oh, well, we're asking it
Anything
now.
About that.
Sustained.
Judge, if I
Morning.
may,
Yeah.
there was some inquiry about him having familiarity. and
Looks like he's
knowledge
trying to
of
read his
Mr. Daybell
notepad.
For 5 years. I think I ought to be
Or go
able
to
to
sleep.
inquire as to what is the extent
He's dreaming of
and his
Bubba.
understanding of that relationship that he claims he has had with Mr. Daybell for 5 years. So I would ask the court to respectfully, I would
Don't
ask. the
swallow
court to
hard.
Consider its ruling.
Mr. Wood, I'll let you respond to that. That is true. There was questioning about.
Right. Come on.
If he wants to ask about the relationship, I think that's.
It's
fine.
like I want to go ding, ding,
I
ding.
didn't ask anything
Let's
about
go home.
his books or his writings.
Mr. Pryor, I will allow you to ask questions about the relationship.
Okay, and Mr. Warwick, the nature of the relationship is that the two of you would go to preparedness camps, is that correct?
Correct.
we've been to preparedness camps, but not together.
Okay. And both of you share a faith in the LDS religion, is
I
that
like this.
correct?
Yes,
As well as your girlfriend and Miss Vallow also are active and share the faith in the LDS religion, is that correct?
yes,
Amen.
And you're familiar with Mr. Daybell because as part of these seminars and places you visit over the years,
This is key.
one of them is Mr. Daybell as being an author of fiction books, is that correct?
yes,
Okay, so you're familiar with Mr. Daybell's writings and his fiction writings, is that correct?
not the fiction. I did not.
Not as fiction books,
Read any
because they're
fiction books.
nonfiction.
Okay, but he did write fiction.
Your Honor, I've already objected.
No,
This has been ruled on.
he just
Judge, it goes back
he
to
wrote
his
pamphlets.
Understanding of his relationship, I think it's perfectly permissible.
He did not read prior, you may proceed.
How well did you know Alex Cox, sir?
What about Alex Cox?
What about him?
Not
Right.
very well.
Okay. Would you clarify your answer a little bit for me in terms of what the nature of your relationship with Alex Cox was?
He was at Lori Vallow's home when I met him in August, and he was at her condo when I was there at the condo. And
Hi, okie dokie. Love you.
so
Be careful. Be safe.
Alex was he was just a kind of just a fun guy.
Stand-up
sense of
guy.
humor, wasn't taking anything real serious, so we had light conversation,
Okay.
but nothing in depth.
Did you ever have any difficulty understanding what anybody was saying to you when you had conversations with them while you were at the Vallow residence?
No.
No, it was not.
So you've never had any difficulty in hearing or understanding what anybody is saying to you when you're having a normal conversation?
No,
with
don't
them? Would that
mind
be
these
fair?
headphones and their noise.
So please repeat.
Okay, I'm sorry you didn't hear me. Did you ever have any difficulty when you were having conversations?
I would do it too.
And I'll speak very loudly into this so you hear me.
Well, it's the only
Did you
time
ever
you
have
do
any
it.
difficulty having and understanding conversations when you were at the Vallow Townhouse in September?
He can't recall.
Sometimes there is, but I always ask for clarification.
Okay. Alex Cox.
That's true, Mohawk
would it
Mom.
be fair to represent to you that your recollection from September 19th through the 23rd of September, that Alex Cox was a frequent visitor to Lori Vallow's townhome?
Frequent flyer.
Yes,
Okay. And at one point, did you ever observe Alex Cox babysitting JJ?
What size Tyvek suit do you wear, David Warwick?
he seemed to take care of JJ.
Yeah,
very
he takes care of
seemed
him.
to have a good relationship. And
Y'all are weird. Y'all need
You
to
were very
just
close. Would that be fair?
go to the next
he seemed
probation.
close to me.
And anybody else, and I don't want to
I do.
misrepresent, but
Do it.
obviously JJ would have difficulty being with anybody else and would have some difficulty other than Alex. It was difficult
Just
for
evil
him to
people.
bond with other male people. Would that be a fair statement?
He was rebuking all of
That's
them.
what I observed.
Okay. Now, I'd like to switch gears a little bit about Tylee. You never met Tylee, is that right?
Never did.
Did you ever?
Did you
discuss
drive her
with Lori
Jeep?
Vallow, your girlfriend's relationship with Tylee?
Objection beyond the scope.
God dang, Rob.
The question, Mr. Pryor, was, did you ever discuss with Lori Vallow, Mr. Warwick's relationship?
Miss Gibb'S relationship with Tylee.
Why?
Was that a topic of discussion?
And there's been an objection as to beyond the scope. I'll let you respond to that, Mr. Pryor.
Judge, there was some representation
God.
about that he didn't have any kind of a relationship with Tylee, and I think I ought to dealt. I'm not really sure.
Or just
That also
ought
be
to,
my
ought to do
objection
it.
based-
I want it now. J.D. Wentworth.
with any kind of relationship between Miss Gibb and Tylee.
No,
Were you aware of any difficulty with the relationship between Miss Gibb and Tylee?
Objection. Beyond the scope, we would never ask anything about that of this witness.
Mr. Pryor?
Judge, it
Cockblock.
goes back to any kind of a relationship with Tylee and what he's familiar with. He said he doesn't have a relationship, and he's in a at least there appears to be a significant relationship with. Were you familiar with any sort of difficulty with the relationship between Miss Gibb?
Just
and
answer the
Tylee?
damn question, Warwick. Damn.
yeah.
Oh, thank
Melanie
you.
just said that
Jeez.
Tylee was, I'm trying to remember how she said it.
Your Honor, I'm going to object.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
Mohawk mom. But she could have been working,
I'm done.
so I don't know. It does freak me out
Covered
too.
everything that I think I need to cover in this case. Thank you very much,
Maxine.
Mr. Warwick. I appreciate it.
Any
It freaks me
redirect,
out,
Mr.
dude.
Wood?
Yes, just briefly.
Pow, 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 pow.
Mr. Gibb, or Mr. Warwick, I apologize.
Wardick.
Just for a point of clarity. September 22nd, you did a podcast with Melanie and Lori, correct?
Correct.
And your testimony was that JJ was not there during the podcast, correct?
Correct.
Did you see him later that night?
Yes.
When?
When Alex
Uh,
brought him.
What
to
time?
the
Dum dum.
Okay. No further questions.
And Judge, may I follow up, because that did bring up an issue in terms of that, because that's inconsistent with what I
Yep,
recall him previously testifying that he didn't see JJ.
exactly.
I think I ought to be given the leeway for at least one very simple question.
Just this one
I'll
time.
allow that. Mr. Wood, if you want to follow up, if there's a new issue that's raised from the question, I'll allow that as well. Go ahead, Mr. Pryor.
When
I do too,
when Alex
Maria.
Cox brought JJ
That's
home,
what I'm saying. I fight with myself, like, because I just want the truth, right? And they don't. Anybody that has to sit here and tiptoe around it, it pisses me off, and it really pisses me off to see the degree of cover up and enablement, if you will. It's just like with Lori's family, enabling. If we continue to enable, then they're going to continue to abuse. You know, it's so gross.
we're not sure about what time that was, but
I agree with you.
where did he put JJ to bed?
Where did he put JJ to bed?
Where did he put JJ?
In
to bed?
heaven.
Where did he
In
lay?
Lori's room.
In Lori's room.
How you know?
All right.
You saw? He was podcasting.
Mr. Wood?
Nothing further.
Mr. Warwick, you may be excused from the witness stand. Thank you for being here. May this witness be excused.
Yes,
from
Your
the-
Honor. Thank you
the
very
hearing.
much.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Warwick.
Let him go. Okay. I know this sucks.
In Morgan, Utah, yes.
I'm gonna try and skip.
Morgan, Utah?
Mhm.
Is Morgan close to Ogden?
Yes.
She don't know.
Mr.
I think no play. It's the same thing. I think I'm allowed to inquire about that. I don't see if that's necessarily irrelevant.
I'll overrule the objection. You may continue with that question, Mr. Pryor.
And again, ma'am, before Mr. Wood injected his objection.
Remember, I have it playing faster.
Question about what is a preparedness camp?
It's a camp where people get together, families and individuals, where they're learning about how to cook outside or how to filter water or different preparedness skills.
Preparedness for what?
For if
Dumbasses.
there's times where you may not have those types of things readily available to you, that you could learn to do it if you didn't have electricity, things like that.
Okay, well, I noticed.
Yeah, you
when I was
would-
listening
you only
to
look
the
like you know how to
tape,
pump
obviously
gas.
I've heard that before. There were some religious references on that tape between you and Miss Vallow.
Correct.
And I'm
Soft
just
porn
curious as
Jesus.
to whether this preparedness camp has any kind of a religious undertone as well.
Over,
Objection, relevance.
overtone.
Overruled. I think there was a lot of religious
Overtone.
Undertones that were put forth yesterday. I'm going to allow Mr. Pryor to go down this road in a limited way here today. I'm going to allow that. question.
250
And again,
meters.
There was a religious undertone, and I don't want to go into complete detail about this, and it's not necessary. But I would like
Oh,
you to explain.
I
what
forgot.
is
2
in your
football
mind
fields or something?
the religious nature of these preparedness camps.
Your client was one of those people that spoke at that, and he was
Girl.
expressing his visions and
I'm
dreams.
gonna
Little
move this
fat
right.
butt.
The question is what question as opposed to pushing some blame on my client? So would you
Ooh,
answer the
don't
question?
Objection.
say.
Ask the question.
Har.
I understand. In fact, if you can carefully.
So I noticed you just took a look at Mr. Wood. Is there a reason why you just
This
did
is
that?
funny.
I looked around.
Oh, you looked around?
Mhm. I didn't actually look at his face.
She wouldn't tell you if she did.
Why don't you tell me what the religious nature of this preparedness camp is, ma'am?
People sharing their spiritual experiences,
Okay.
scriptural based to personal dreams.
Does it have a specific religious affiliation in this religious preparedness camp?
Yes.
People that belong to our church,
What church is that, ma'am?
the
Church
Church
of
of Jesus
Firstborn.
Christ of Latter-day Saints.
So you represent yourself as an LDS person? is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Drive it in.
And the first opportunity for you to meet Mr. Daybell was in July of 2017. Did you have a face-to-face meeting with him?
No,
Yeah.
just with Jesus.
Okay, did you discuss anything in particular?
Yes.
Second anointing. He's
I'm
hearing
sorry, Judge, I
voices.
heard some voices. this morning, and it distracted me. I apologize.
Chad didn't even
And
flinch.
then, did you have any contact with him prior to the July 18th organization that you went to in Mesa, Arizona?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so you don't have any recollection of whether you spoke to him again between July of 2017 and July of 2018, is that correct?
I'm not sure.
Let me
Yeah,
go
that's
look at
correct.
Glammy Girl.
And then
See what
you
she
were at
said.
some sort of relation in July of 2018, is that right?
I'm sorry, 2018?
In Mesa, Arizona.
I like this.
Just checking my mind with my dates. I believe so.
No, you're not checking your
Is there
portal.
anything that you have in terms of a medical condition that affects your ability to recollect anything, ma'am?
No,
Is there any condition such as an auditory disorder? that you've been
Correct.
Diagnosed with that affects your.
I agree
ability
with
to
that
understand and
too.
hear things?
no,
You've never been medically diagnosed with an auditory disorder?
no.
At some point you met Lori Vallow, is that correct?
Correct.
And when was that?
October 2018.
When Jason Malmetta introduces.
Did you meet Chad Daybell at the same time?
I'm gonna have to put a video together, huh?
Did you meet Ms. Vallow, ma'am?
In Mesa, Arizona, at a church building.
Okay, and what was the nature of the proceeding that you were at? Was it a preparedness camp again?
No, it was a held by the church.
Drive
inside
it
of,
in,
about
Briar.
preparedness type of classes that they asked me to speak on.
Okay.
Why?
And this was, the church.
We
that
asked you
was
to
supporting
shut
this
up.
Preparedness situation was part of the LDS church, is that correct?
Yes, but these groups are separate.
No, they're
Say
not.
that again?
These groups are not affiliated with each other.
Okay, but you got so they sealed in the temple, but not in
Mhm.
in the ceiling room. How you
No.
know where the ceiling room is?
And then on July of 18th, when you met him in Mesa, Arizona, when
Oh.
was the last time that you met him?
Hate people.
I met him. We saw each other in October 2018, probably a week or two after I met Lori.
Okay. And that was in St. George?
Yes.
And what was the nature of that meeting? Where was that taking place at? In that church as well?
No, I think it was in an elementary school.
Okay. And what was the nature of that meeting? What was
It was a variety of speakers.
Okay.
Always.
And what was the topics?
We had some talking about science. We had some talking about the Book of Mormon evidence.
Okay.
We had some talking about their dreams of visions.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not
And,
LDS.
Were you a speaker at that as well?
No,
There's a gentleman's name who came up, and it's Mr. Warwick. You mentioned him a couple of times.
Yes.
I don't know who the hell's
What's your
stomping down the
relationship?
damn hall, but they
he's my boyfriend.
the elephant. My boyfriend.
Are you two living?
Then they
together?
both.
Objection relevance.
But then David Warwick's like, on this in the trial or whatever, he's saying, like, they ask if he was married, and he's like, no, basically we're divorced. And then he was like, well, mine wasn't, I'm like, you're lying. Do y'all not see that? Like, not y'all, like these idiots.
You know where Mr. Warwick lives?
Yes,
The cavity of a rock.
he lives in Utah.
Where in Utah?
Rock
Pleasant
cavity.
Grove,
Okay, where do you live, man?
Gilbert, Arizona.
Still,
And that's your permanent address in Gilbert, Arizona?
Correct.
yeah, it's 12 times 12 equals 144,000.
And again, the October 26th at St. George, did that have religious overtones as well?
Yes,
And that was also somewhat sponsored by the LDS Church, is that correct?
Yes.
not by the church, by individuals.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But the theme of that was consistent with what your religious faith is that correct?
Correct.
I love this
You're
part.
telling me that on October 26th, Mr. Daybell was there as well?
Yes. If you could speak a little closer to your mic.
Okay.
If you could shut that F up.
And Mr. Daybell, do you recall what his topic was at that time on October 2018?
Yes, he talked about the different visions he had of what he saw was going to happen in the last days.
Yeah,
Is that
James and
something that
Elena.
interested you?
Loin
Yes.
fire.
Is that something that's inconsistent with your religious
Hell
beliefs?
yeah.
No.
Okay,
Liar.
so it's something that's consistent with your religious beliefs, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I misspoke.
And then at some point, do you have a recollection when Mr. Daybell and Lori Vallow met?
Yes.
And you were present for that meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
And was that in
Why?
Arizona?
No. As you recall, I said
Yeah.
St. George, Utah.
Okay.
Oh, that was on the 26th of 2018 in St. George. That's correct. Okay. So you had known Ms. Vallow at that point for how long?
A few weeks.
Okay. Did you form a friendship?
Yes.
Was there an immediate
Obviously.
friendship?
Yes.
Would you describe, obviously, I heard some of your testimony on that tape, but from that time in October until, maybe the beginning of last year?
That was
you had a very
Jesus
close
law for
friendship,
him.
Would that be fair?
Tape.
Yes.
Sisters?
Possibly.
Well, possibly, or?
No, daughters.
We were close.
Daughter.
You shared a number of things.
Feeds.
You shared your belief about having visions about things that may happen in the future, correct?
Not my visions, not her visions.
How you know?
But you're not in disbelief about having visions about things, are you?
I'm not in disbelief.
Crack their
Tell me
nuts.
how many times you spoke with the Gilbert Police Department?
Oh, multiple times, maybe 5 or 6.
Okay. Do you have a recollection of the first time you spoke to the Gilbert Police Department?
I believe it was December. I'm sorry, in person or on phone?
On the phone?
On phone. I believe it was December
True that, Mohawk mom.
7th or 8th.
They were excited about getting periods again, and I'm like, woo woo.
Get back to him and call him?
I'm glad to see them go. I believe we will, Maria P.
And then in
I
November, you
just,
didn't call him back right
you
away,
know, you
correct?
got to kind of keep your
And then at some point, you did have contact.
Your,
Did you initiate the contact, or did Officer Gilbert?
eggs all in
initiate
one
the
basket and close to you.
Well, he first initiated it, and then I secondly
Just
initiated
don't
contact? So you
know
called him
how,
back,
Correct.
Sometime after he called.
like, I don't know if I go and file my own or wait on my family or, yeah, I don't know how this works. I know there's like, well, you know, you have such amount of time to file a lawsuit and things like that. So I don't know, because of the way this case has played out, you know, it's not like we could really focus on just Uncle Charles. So I hope that doesn't bite us in the butt as far as things like that, you know. Trust me, it's been talked about in my family for a while. Just, I don't know who's going to make, you know, like, I don't know. So I do want to learn more. That's for sure.
That's correct.
How much time passed between when you left the message and when you got back?
I would say within an hour, possibly.
And then at some point, there was a question regarding the whereabouts of JJ, is that right?
Correct.
And at that point, you had advised him that you had JJ in your care, correct?
Yeah, I lied.
I told him that I had him, and then I didn't have him.
Right. That's a
The
lie.
initial time that you told him that you had JJ, that was not a truthful statement to Officer Pillar, was it?
Correct.
And when
Correct.
you tell a statement that's not accurate to a police officer, that's a lie, is it not?
It's lying for the Lord.
So you lied to a police officer, is that
To
correct?
the Lord.
And then at some point, how long between the time when you told that lie to the police officer regarding the whereabouts of JJ Vallow did you correct your lie? How much time passed?
Till I spoke to him on December 6th, I believe. I could be off a day or two.
You off something. It ain't a day or two.
But I want an accurate reflection of the amount of time that we're talking about. The initial call from Officer Gilbert occurred sometime in late November. Did you have any reason to disagree with that, ma'am?
No.
And then the time when you decided to tell Officer Gilbert the truth, at least what you think the truth is, was sometime in December, the 6th of December.
Correct.
So approximately 10 to 12 days passed from the time you told your first lie to when you decided to come up with a different story for Officer Gilbert later on, correct?
Correct.
Get him, Pryor.
So at least at that point, we have 2 phone calls with Officer Gilbert, correct?
Correct.
Officer Gilbert, Officer Pillar, I'm sorry, I apologize. Officer Pillar, I can't get Gilbert, Arizona out of my mind.
Mhm.
Officer Pillar.
Mhm.
When was the next time you spoke with Officer Pillar?
Maybe the next day. And
What was the purpose of that phone call?
Thank you, Mary.
we were just trying to make arrangements to get together.
To discuss the case?
Correct.
And where did you make arrangements to discuss the case?
In his office in Gilbert, Arizona.
Okay, when did you have that office visit?
Do you have knee pads?
I know I have it written down. I cannot recall right now. It's on my phone
Depends.
though.
Was it a significant amount of time or was it a brief?
Well, I was in Utah at the time.
Where were
so
you-
he
where
was-
were
She
you-
was hiding in the cavity of a damn rock, dude.
Mr. Pryor, you're interrupting the witness before she can answer
I
the question.
apologize.
Well,
Your
she's
Honor.
a
We're
dipshit.
making
That's why.
a record here, so it's crucial that nobody talk over each other. So, Mr. Pryor, you should make an effort here to let the witness finish the answer before you ask the next question. And Ms. Gibb, if you'll make sure he finishes.
All right, all right.
Where were you in Utah?
I was at David Warwick's home in Pleasant Grove, Utah.
How long had you been there?
Till it's safe to come out.
A few days. I can't recall.
And do you recall the approximate date is when you were there?
I'm sorry.
The approximate date when you were there, ma'am?
Came to Jesus meeting. Not.
I don't have those dates memorized right now.
But at some
Somebody
point,
give them a
you had
notepad.
Face-to-face conversation with Officer Pillar of the Gilbert Police.
When I arrived home from my trip to Utah, I immediately went there that day. I didn't even go home first.
Wow.
And how long was the conversation with Officer Pillar?
I would say at least 2 hours.
Okay. Did he advise you whether or not that was a recorded conversation?
I believe he did.
You said
Come
it was a
on.
recorded conversation?
No,
I believe
you,
so, but I can't exactly recall.
we know.
And then did you have another visit with him at a later time after
She
that?
don't
I
remember.
did.
Okay, when was that, ma'am?
I can't recall the time, but it was probably a few weeks.
A few weeks later? Okay. And again, was that a recorded conversation as an in-person?
Hell no.
recorded Conversation?
I don't know for sure, but it could have been.
Was it an in-person discussion?
Yes.
Who else was present for that meeting?
The second meeting, I believe it was just Officer Pryor or Pillar, sorry.
Philip?
They're both saying each other's
At some
names.
point, were you interviewed by the Rexburg Police Department?
A little bit.
When you say a little bit, could you just tell me what that means?
I just had a brief conversation
Yeah.
and he told me to just contact Gilbert Police to tell the whole story.
Oh, yeah. Because that's awful white of
Did
you.
have
It's
any
awful,
other
awful
visits with
white
the
of
Gilbert
you.
Police Department after that, the last one you spoke of?
Opposite of Christ-like
When
people,
was that
y'all.
one?
Oh, could have been like a month or two later. I can't recall.
And at any time, did you have a face-to-face
With
meeting
Jesus?
Anybody from the Rexburg Police Department?
Not until just a few months ago when they came down to speak to me.
Okay, and who came down to speak with you?
Detective Ball and Detective Hermosillo and Rob Woods.
Right. So at that point, do you recall what that date of that meeting was?
No. Just say no. That's too long.
I believe it was in June,
Okay.
but I can't recall the date.
Could have been July,
And again, that
August,
meeting,
September.
Officer Hermosillo was present.
Correct?
Did Officer Hermosillo say that he was recording that conversation?
I do not know.
Did you recall whether he told you that?
I can't recall.
Did Lieutenant Ball say he was recording the conversation?
I cannot recall.
Mr. Wood was present for a discussion with you in June as well, because he was present for that meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And the topic of discussion was Lori Vallow?
It was everybody.
Okay. And everybody meaning Lori Vallow, correct?
Correct.
Chad Daybell,
Correct.
Alex Cox?
Correct.
Was there also a discussion about potential difficulties you might have as a result of lying to the Gilbert Police Department?
No.
There was never any
Immunity.
reference or any offer of any deal to testify about anything, and they would forego going after you for lying to a police officer?
No.
You've never been offered anything by anyone in regards to the fact that you lied about at least you.
Objection asked and answered.
Mr. Pryor,
I judge it's a different question. It's a
I-
slightly different question.
I'll allow you to ask the question.
So again, Mr. Wood has never specifically offered you any deal to testify in any manner in this case. Is that correct?
Never.
And when you came into town, when did you arrive in town this week?
Saturday.
Okay. Did you have a meeting with Mr. Wood prior to testifying today?
Yes.
Did he tell you what to say on the stand?
No.
Did he coach you in any way?
No.
Did he ask you to testify in a certain manner or wear a certain amount of clothes, a certain way?
Welcome, Jess. I'm not going to keep the comment up, though.
We
Protection.
talked about a lot of things.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get
Wow.
into. Wasn't the weather, was it, ma'am?
No.
Was it LDS
About
related?
how and what you were going to say in this hearing today, correct?
I mean, not,
He asked me questions and I gave him answers.
Do you know whether or not that recording, that conversation was recorded or not?
I have no idea.
So what you're telling me is that when you arrived here on Saturday, you had a meeting with Mr. Wood. Who else was present for that meeting?
David Warwick and two of the women he works with.
Okay, two of the women, Mr. Warwick.
okay. Reflexology.
Okay.
Sounds
Staff
muscle
member as well.
testing,
Correct.
kind of
Okay, was
like.
any law enforcement officer there?
Probably. Yes. I saw Detective Hermosillo and some of the detectives.
And
I know
another
I
life,
don't know the
Life
titles,
girl.
but I know they told me, I just can't recall all the people.
And when you say probably, the answer is there were other officers there, correct?
Yes.
And how many other officers?
She's not gonna tell you.
Their names, but how many in
You-
number were in this place?
Gotta work for it.
Interviewed?
I cannot recall. There was several people going in and out. It was a busy kind of
I'll
room.
admit. Never
Where did
mind.
this interview take place?
In the Madison County Courthouse.
At the prosecutor's office?
Mhm.
Yes.
So if I understand this correctly, that you spoke to numerous law enforcement officers about your testimony. Mr. Wood and.
Objection. He's misstating her testimony.
Mr. Pryor,
He's just trying to
well,
understand
you've had
it.
At least 4 or 5 discussions with Officer Pillar, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
Officer Pillar, how many times have you?
Your
spoken?
Honor, I misunderstood his question. Never mind.
Okay.
I
All
withdraw
right.
my objection.
Calm down.
Mr. Pryor, please proceed.
You've had numerous discussions with law enforcement officers, is that correct?
Yes, if you could speak a little closer to your mic.
Okay.
If
I
I
will.
could shove it up your ass.
Other than Officer
Sorry.
Hermosillo and Officer Ball and Officer Pillar from the Gilbert Police Department, have you spoken to anybody with the FBI?
Yes,
And how many times did you speak with the FBI?
maybe 2 or
I'm a
3 times.
scooch.
When were those?
I'm a
ma'am?
scooch because this is getting long.
Sometime a year, I cannot recall the date.
All right, so sometime in 2020, that's a very broad range.
I know.
Are you having difficulty remembering when you spoke with an FBI agent?
Yes,
And is it?
Oh my God.
I'm
And
sorry,
argumentative.
Answer per question.
you
I like it.
testified that sometime in 2020 you spoke with the FBI.
I
Come
can't
on.
recall. August, that would be this month.
That would be. Okay, did you speak to anybody in July of 2020?
Okay. Oh yeah, he did the rundown of the month.
Probably not, but I can't recall.
Do you have any recollection of any month that you may have spoken to the FBI? No, what month? Which recollection of when you spoke with
How many
them?
times did he say month?
Was it an uneventful discussion? Is that why you don't remember it?
I'm sorry, can you repeat
Was
that?
it an uneventful discussion? Is that why you don't remember it?
I just can't recall the time because it didn't have any significance of a certain, it was on the phone, so I don't remember the date.
Oh, you've never had a face-to-face?
Most,
And I'd like to talk about Alex Cox. How would you describe your relationship with Alex Cox?
a friend, friendly with each other.
How many times did you meet Alex Cox?
Multiple times, I cannot recall.
When's the first time you met Alex Cox?
Shortly after meeting Lori, between October and November 2018.
Okay.
There's one
How
point
would
in
you
here where
describe the
Chad
relationship
like
based on
just
knowledge
mean
of
mugs
Alex,
her. I
between
forget
Alex
what
Cox and
here.
Lori Vallow?
I'm sorry, the relationship I
Yeah,
have or they have?
They have, the two of them.
Oh, those two together. They were good friends and siblings to each other. They got along really well.
Well, they were very
They're
close
so
with each other, were they
weird.
not?
I think we've established that though.
Yes,
In fact, isn't it true that when they moved from Arizona to Idaho, Alex moved as well? Isn't that true?
correct.
And in fact, he tried to get an apartment right next to Lori's. Isn't that correct?
I believe so.
And he actually gave up a job so that he could be with Lori in Idaho. Is that correct?
I don't know if he gave it up.
Okay. Did he do that previously as well? In Texas or something like that? Do you have any recollection of that?
I don't know, but
She don't know unless it freaking benefits her. Just like
So
the
you
rest of
described
them.
they have a close relationship. It was a little more than close. They were extremely close, weren't they?
Meow.
Objection speculative.
There's no speculation. It's a specific question.
Ms.
Were they
Gibb,
extremely close?
Ms. Gibb, I'm going to authorize the question to be answered if you know the answer to that question.
I would say yes.
Now you listened to the tape recording that you recorded, and that was in what was that? Was that December of last year? Is that correct? That tape recording, the 21-minute record with
No,
Lori.
December 8th.
You remember the date?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Were you prompted by law enforcement to make that phone call?
Nope.
No, just covering her
Did that on
ass.
your own?
Yep.
And the questions
All
you
by
asked are
herself.
questions that you planned ahead of time to ask Lori about what was going on, correct?
Correct.
And you planned this as a means of trying to gain some information to somehow
To exalt
clarify
yourself,
things for you, correct?
basically.
Partially correct. I had many objectives in that, and that was
Okay.
one of them,
Okay,
to show my innocence.
okay. And one of the other
Yeah, nothing about the goddamn kids. Whoa.
You did nothing wrong. Is that correct?
Correct?
And you needed to prove to the police that you were innocent of no wrongdoing. Is that correct?
That wasn't my full objective.
But it was one of the objectives.
Oh, it was the main one.
Yes.
Now, I took the liberty of listening to that tape a number of times.
Poor thing.
And I found something quite interesting.
I
is
bet.
that, Lori Vallow said on the tape that she would not tell anything to Al. When she said she would not tell anything to Al, who's the Al she's talking about?
Her brother.
That would be Alex Cox.
Correct.
And she also talked about not telling you anything as well, correct?
Correct.
And you two were more than close friends. You were almost sisters with Lori Vallow, weren't you?
We were really close.
Well, were you almost sisters? Would you describe it as that close?
Possibly.
Okay. Is there a reason why you're not saying yes?
I mean, that's what they say in the church.
Word to say
Sister
you're a
Daybell,
with somebody.
Sister.
I haven't known her for very long. It's
Sister
only been a few
Gibb.
months.
Okay. But you knew her long enough to make that phone call to try to get her to help you clear your name, right?
Partially.
Okay.
Mm-mm-mm.
Now, would you describe Lori as someone who's a persuasive person?
Yes.
And she's got quite a
Bullshit.
dynamic personality, doesn't she?
Yes,
And she's very convincing, isn't she?
yes.
And if she says that she would not discuss anything with any of her children or the whereabouts with anybody close to her, would that be a fair statement?
Yeah.
Obviously.
So she would, no matter who it is, she would probably refrain from giving out any information if it served her purpose.
The objection is speculative. Calls for facts, not evidence.
Sustained.
I don't think I could be married to a lawyer.
Talk a little
You're
bit-
too argumentative.
You went down to, went down. You came to
She
Rexburg
went down.
around the 19th of September, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And part of your visit, you brought your boyfriend at the time, David Warwick, correct?
He met me there.
Okay, you guys met there.
Correct.
And then you were staying in, and I've had an opportunity to go through all of the police reports and all the evidence. You were staying in Lori Vallow's apartment.
Damn,
is
I
that
didn't think it
correct?
was this long.
Correct.
And you and David were staying in Tylee's room, from what I understand the statements that were previously given. Is that correct?
Correct.
I was
Oh, where was David staying?
in JJ's room.
Having a nightmare till I woke him up.
Now,
Blessings are something different.
and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but you had a poor relationship with Tylee, and isn't that correct?
I would say I had pretty much a no relationship with Tyler.
Right.
Mm-mm-mm.
Well, all right, I want to strike this because I don't want to misrepresent. Both of you weren't particularly fond of each other.
She
is that
does it
correct?
good enough for herself.
Objection
just
asked
did
and
not.
answered.
That hasn't been asked and answered, Judge.
Overruled. I'll allow the question.
You and Tylee were not particularly fond of each other. Is that correct?
I don't know how she felt about me, but I did not have a relationship with
Wow.
her. I would not say that.
I don't like you.
But
She
it's
didn't like
it's
you.
no surprise that she didn't necessarily want to be around you, did she?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
You could really care less whether you were around her as well. Isn't that true, Em?
Not necessarily.
Okay, well, if it's not necessarily, does that mean yes, no, or you just don't want to answer?
Objection argumentative.
She don't.
Sustained.
How would you describe your relationship with Tylee?
I don't think
Not at
so.
all. Would you care to be around her or
I'm a
not?
girl.
Very
Objection
little.
asked and answered.
Okay. I'm fine,
Sustained.
Judge. I'm going to move on. How would you describe your relationship with JJ?
No.
I tried to communicate, but he didn't reciprocate, so there was not a relationship.
Okay. He was autistic, obviously, right?
Correct.
And you're familiar with that as well. You share with Lori
Yeah, it's all right.
the job of caring for autistic children as well, do you not?
Objection relevance.
Repeat the question for me, Mr.
I
Pryor.
agree,
You share
MK.
the job and the obligation of caring for an autistic child as well, do you not,
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Gibb?
I'd also renew the objection on the grounds that it's beyond the scope of the direct.
I don't know how far you're going to go along this road, Mr. Pryor. I'll allow that one
All right.
question. But as far as relevance goes, I agree. You're bordering on the relevant.
All right. You share that with Ms. Vallow, as you have an autistic child as well, do you not, ma'am?
Correct.
Now, that child was also interviewed by police about whereabouts of
Yep. Yes, Karen Holland. Oh my God.
Yes.
were you present for that?
No.
You chose not to be?
I was in Utah. He was in Gilbert.
So the Gilbert police approached him and interviewed him about your knowledge about the whereabouts of JJ?
They asked him questions.
Okay. Do you have any recollections to whether or not he cooperated with the officers?
He says he had a short visit with them.
Okay. And when did he say that short visit was?
Objection hearsay.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Lee.
Your recollection, were you ever present when your son and JJ Vallow short at the time period that he was talking about, ma'am?
They never had a visit during that period.
Okay. So that was not a truthful statement that your son made to the Gilbert police?
My
department?
son did not
Objection.
understand.
Oh, he did because you just cacao, girl.
Just asking
How you
whether or
gonna
not she
protect your
made a
own?
truthful statement to the police department about her son saying he had a visit with JJ Vallow when it didn't happen.
Oh,
Your Honor, he's just trying to sneak in a statement.
no, he's not.
Of someone who's not here.
That's bad when I'm for the defense, right?
Sustained.
It's bad.
Thank you.
You left on the 23rd of September, is that right?
Allegedly.
Correct.
Okay. And at that time, you didn't see Tylee at all, is that correct?
She don't
Right.
know.
Now, on the Sunday, the 22nd, did David and Chad go to deal with some real estate matters together?
I did as well. And so Alex was there too.
Oh, that was news to me. I wasn't aware you went as well. Where did you guys go?
We went to a lot that was close to Mr. Daybell's home.
Did you see the
What
church?
time was that? Do you recall?
It was sometime in the afternoon. I don't recall exactly.
He said late morning.
Okay. Sometime meaning between 12 and 5 or 6?
I would say either.
Yeah, me
late morning or
neither.
early
Me
afternoon.
neither. Early 62, but he's all we got.
Chad wanted to.
I think the ego's
show
getting
this
away.
piece of land to David, and he encouraged him to consider building on that land.
Well, welcome, Mary.
Is your-
You're never late
is
here.
your boyfriend in the real estate business now?
General contractor.
General contractor. Okay.
Hmm.
Was Lori Vallow present for that?
No,
Concubine.
Was Alex present for that?
yes.
So Lori was not there. David said she was.
And what time did that end?
I don't recall.
Was it a long visit?
I would
There's an
say
elephant in my
an
hotel room.
hour-ish.
I mean, hall. An hour, she said 30 minutes. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess. I guess she's the only one that
Now
got
on the,
immunity.
Night of the
It
22nd,
might have been contingent.
Alex Cox was babysitting JJ. Is that what I recall from your testimony?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to go through a brief timeline if I may.
Okay.
So you got back from a real estate event sometime late afternoon, something like that. Is that correct?
Something like that.
Then you and your boyfriend drove over to Lori's apartment?
Firm Foundation.
That meeting, yes.
Yep. Did Alex go with you?
Went to go see
Pocatello?
Pocatello's
He
son.
had his own vehicle.
Okay, did Alex go over to Lori's apartment as well that day afterwards?
I don't recall when he did. He was in and out often.
Who drove the Jeep?
What?
He was in and out. He would come in and out of the house, so I don't recall exactly when he arrived or exactly when he did. I don't remember.
He had an ability to just visit Lori. They were very close in that he would just come in when he felt like it. Is that fair to
Horrible.
say?
I would.
That was
say
his
so.
apartment.
All right, and so at some point on the 22nd, he was coming in and out, correct?
Yes.
You talked a little bit about Alex carrying JJ. back
You're
into Lori's
funny.
apartment. Do you recall when that was approximately?
As I shared yesterday, it was sometime between hours of 9 p.m. to midnight-ish,
Only clothes get old, Lee.
Did Alex stay in the apartment that night?
not to my knowledge.
Well, how big of an apartment is this?
There are 3 bedrooms upstairs and none downstairs.
So with you in one bedroom
And,
and your boyfriend in the other bedroom and
the lives between.
Lori in the bedroom, where was JJ?
He had like a little bed in the corner of her room. And so that's where she would have him.
That pisses me off. God, that nanny didn't bring that out either.
It was a bed in a corner.
Okay. And to your knowledge, was JJ there at night between 9 and 12?
To my knowledge, he was.
And Alex put him to bed, is that correct?
I just remember him coming in the house holding him, and then I turned back to the recording that I was doing that evening.
Okay, and so then they wake up in the morning and they go downstairs and they're like, hey, Lori, we just, and she's like, oh my God, he was climbing up and scaling the cabinets. And according to David Warwick's testimony, just, here the other day, he was saying that the hinges and stuff would have been bent. And I'm like, what? He all of a sudden became like this expert witness, because that's what he does, general contractor. And it's like, when they're telling the truth, because that's when they talk fast, when they're like struggling and being reluctant and like dragging their ass and doing this double speak crap. Oh man, they're exhausting. So they're saying that JJ was carried into Uncle Alex. I always just assumed that JJ was already dead at that point. But now they're saying that, or actually in both of these too, they're saying that, somewhere in the middle of the night, JJ turned into a zombie. Had to have been, if he wasn't dead already when Uncle Al carried him in. So then Al had to go take care of him again. These people took part in murdering these kids, allegedly. It's my theory. It's my gut feeling. And you can tell by ye fruits, ye shall know. Come on, Hooker, hurry up.
We were recording a podcast with Lori present, and
Well,
we were interviewing David, and he was sharing a lot of his personal spiritual experiences and conversion to our church.
Well, he could have shared about his damn nightmare and saved us all damn.
Okay, and that's the LDS religion?
Correct.
I like
Lori was
this.
actively involved as well in the LDS religion at that time
Yes.
during that meeting as well, correct?
Mhm.
Correct.
Mhm.
And she shared the same beliefs that you share in terms of the religion. Is that
Correct.
Correct.
And Chad shared the same religious beliefs as part of the LDS church as well, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So all of
I
you,
loved it.
David,
I love it
yourself,
because
Lori, and Chad all share.
in the testimony just here recently, they're like, no, it's imaginary church. We just looked at some property, and they're seeing this imaginary church. Oh my God! Do you see how pissed off this? Oh my God!
They're the
Mm-mm-mm.
same and are consistent with your LDS beliefs. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
It's the only thing consistent.
You got up in the morning on the 23rd?
Sometime.
Recall
Obviously,
about what time, ma'am?
I don't.
But you do recall.
you're an
that-
early riser. Remember, Mel?
Correct.
Well, if you didn't know he slept there when you were doing your podcast, how did you know he was there? He wasn't there. in the
As I
morning.
said, I don't recall seeing him. I never recall seeing him.
Oh, so he may have been there.
I didn't see
Shouldn't
him.
he have been?
Okay, but he may have been there or he may not have been there. Would that be a fair statement?
Sure.
Uh,
I don't need sure. Is that a fair statement or is it an unfair statement?
It could be fair.
Okay.
Oh my God! Y'all want to become a part of the Slapaho tribe?
Did Lori rely on Alex for babysitting?
Sometimes. I don't believe all the time. I wouldn't know all her babysitting
You,
moments.
you were there when the babysitter was there, okay? Because she went and picked your funky ass up from the airport and then brought you back. And then you would have seen her unless you were hanging out in the garage putting on a Tyvek suit with Al or a monkey mask.
And up until the time that Lori moved here around September 1st, Mr. Daybell wasn't a regular visitor with Lori Daybell prior to September 1st. Would that be fair?
Calls for facts outside of evidence.
I got a
Can
few
you please
words.
repeat the
I'm
question,
just
Mr.
gonna keep
Pryor?
to
Would it
myself.
be fair to say that Mr. Daybell was not a regular visitor with Lori Vallow until she moved here on September 1st? Would that be fair?
Bullshit.
Who is not a regular visitor?
Would it be fair that Mr. Daybell was not a regular visitor with Ms. Vallow until after she moved here on September 1st, ma'am?
Mr. Wood, your objection
I'll
is
withdraw the objection.
okay. Ms. Gibb, if you know the answer to that question, you can answer it.
I know according to knowledge from what Lori shared that they visited often.
Oh, they did.
Wow.
Prior to September 1st?
Yes.
Oh, so he would go to where was Lori living?
Jet set.
She lived multiple places.
Well, let's talk about that. Where was she living prior to September 1st?
She was living in Chandler, Arizona.
Okay, did she move somewhere else prior to Chandler?
Yes.
Where she lived?
She lived in Texas.
H-Town.
I'm sorry. Yes, Texas.
When, do you have a recollection of when she lived in Texas?
I'm not sure exactly the months, but I want
What,
to
she
say
went there for
somewhere
a few
between
days?
April or May or
Of what year, ma'am?
something, or
She's
June.
hiding a lot. I wish the behavior panel would just rack these biatches up. Just somebody.
19, I believe.
Okay.
Look, we're on her ears. She don't
How
know.
long did she live in Texas then?
It seemed that it was around 2 months. It could have been a little bit more, a little bit less.
You don't know. If you did, we
She
don't.
moved to Chandler,
Believe
Arizona,
you.
is that correct?
Correct.
Did she live any place after Chandler before she came to Rexburg?
And who?
I don't think so. No,
You said multiple places. That's what I'm trying to get at. Was it just 2 places?
no. So she lived with Alex Cox for 4
Multiple
years.
wives, multiple lives, multiple houses.
So the beginning of 2019, after she left Charles, and she also lived in Hawaii for a period of time. So,
Right.
was
Was she in Hawaii? And I'm not talking about the time that she was with Chad. Was she in Hawaii with Alex as well?
I don't
Yes.
think so.
And Melanie
I
Pulowski.
don't know for sure.
It's possible he was in Hawaii as well.
I don't recall it.
He had a habit of kind of following her, didn't he?
Well, I don't know following, but they were around each other a lot. And then she went to his house to live. So
Right.
she went over there.
They were pretty
Oh,
strong
wrong
bonded
house.
with each other, weren't they?
Yes.
Hurry up. It's taking a long
I
time.
and I didn't hear what the name was, and I apologize for my ignorance. Talk to me a little bit about, I think you said King Noah.
Mm-mm.
Was it King Noah? Is that what you mentioned on the tape when you were talking to Lori Vallow?
Yes.
Okay. And the date of that conversation, Lori, was when? December 8th again?
Yes.
And I was having some difficulty kind of gathering what the reference to King Noah was about. Tell me about that.
She brought the reference up to the fact that a prophet named Alma, and she asked me about Alma. And so I explained to her, the people that were surrounded with that occurrence of Alma's
What's the
experience.
occurrence of
How
Alma?
are you going to tell her
You
experience?
keep interrupting the witness, so it's extremely difficult for me to hear the last few words of her answer before you answer. So if you'll please allow her to finish before you interrupt.
And then I answer on top of
No
them.
problem.
So ma'am, I'm sorry, and I'll try to do better. I'm just intrigued by this. And obviously, please excuse my ignorance. Tell me a little bit about Alma.
Alma was a prophet, but before he became that prophet, he was in a court as a high priest to a king called King Noah. But this King Noah was a very unrighteous king.
Never heard of these people.
And so Alma, being one of the judges or high priests that were listening to another prophet call them to repentance, named Abinadi, he started to feel that the actions of King Noah were evil, and he broke away from this group, and then he left.
And then what?
And I got the sense that there was some sort of adultery undertone there. Am I misunderstanding that?
Yeah, King Noah and his group of people tend to be breaking the commandments, and he became
So you were breaking the
So adultery
commandments.
is
You were
obviously-
hoeing
Your
around.
Honor, I objection relevance.
Mr. Pryor, do you want to respond to that?
Well,
Nope.
Judge, there was some reference to Ms. Vallow's behavior and some reference to King Noah and Angel Maroney or something like that. And I think, quite honestly, I ought to be able to inquire if the tape was played, it was presented as evidence. And I think I at least ought to inquire what that reference and what she was referring to. So that's what I'm trying to get at is get an explanation of what that reference was, because I am terribly confused about what they were talking about.
Me and
Objection
all
overruled, all
of
questions.
America and all over
Was
the
adultery
world.
part of this, the
We don't understand.
dynamic of this issue with King Noah and the such?
It was multiple things that King Noah. I said riotous living.
Okay, what do you mean by right?
Riotous?
Sorry.
Righteous, maybe?
Well, I don't know everything that they were doing in this scriptural reference other than they noted it. So whatever that meant in their day,
So in multiple things, adultery obviously was one of those, correct?
it was one of those.
Okay. And in the scripture that you're referring to, is there a biblical source of that information in that story? that you're
She
telling
won't
me?
know
Which
the
scripture
biblical.
reference are you referring to?
The one about King Noah that you were discussing with Lori Vallow. What is the source? What is there a book or a document that story is told in?
Oh, it's in the Book of Mormon.
It's in the Book of Mormon. Okay.
Correct.
So your
Exactly.
reference with Lori, obviously she understands that because she was actively and still participating in the LDS religion.
Correct.
Correct.
And Mr. Daybell was actively participating in the LDS religion, correct?
Still is
That I know
till
of.
the day after this
And you
day.
were actively participating in the LDS religion.
When he got X.
So all of you understood the references that you were
Yes.
talking about. That's what I was trying to get at. And thank you, ma'am, for explaining that. I didn't understand. Okay?
No.
Excuse my ignorance.
Try and explain it again. You can't. Ugh. It's a trap. Come on. We're almost done, y'all. Thank you for hanging. Thank you for hanging. I just think it's important. They suck. I know.
Oh.
Oh,
I think I asked you about the podcast and what the subject was. It was a religious subject, was it not?
Yes.
he's opening his flask.
Oh, I did. And thank you. Mr. Daybell was a author, is that correct?
Is he an author?
Yes.
Allegedly.
And he writes fiction, is that correct?
Pamphlets.
I haven't read all his
Objection
books.
is beyond the scope, relevance.
Mr. Pryor?
But he forwarded your
Judge,
book.
I think what she did is talk an awful lot about Mr. Daybell and her knowledge of Mr. Daybell. And I think quite honestly, I'm using this as a way of trying to find out exactly how familiar she is with Mr. Daybell. She made a number of statements, and quite honestly, I think I ought to be able to inquire about, how much does she know about Mr. Daybell? I think that's perfectly relevant.
Mr. Wood?
Failed to see how it's relevant at all, Your Honor. This is turning into a fishing expedition. Preliminary hearing is not for the defense to engage in discovery. He's limited in what he's supposed to ask to what was presented on.
Come on. Bots.
Okay, and you're I don't want to say fiance, you're not engaged with Mr. Warwick, is that correct?
I can't hear it. It's so damn low.
Mr. Warwick is a writer as well?
No,
Oh, I was under the impression he was an author as well. He wrote some.
Yeah.
Is it correct?
and correct.
Okay.
We're done. Right?
Judge, I
Right.
have nothing further. Thank you very much. And thank
Get
you
the hell out of here, girl. Don't touch my parent.
Mr. Wood, and you redirect.
You
Your
old
Honor,
hag.
ask for a 5-minute recess.
We'll take 5.
Yeah.
Mr. Wood, do you wish to have redirect of the witness, Miss Gibb.
Yes, just briefly, Your Honor.
No,
You may
Slapaho tribe.
proceed.
Slapaho tribe. Slapaho tribe. That's all I'm saying. Riotous living equals reckless, excessive, lavish, wild, and uncontrolled way. He was limited in what he could ask because it was just a preliminary hearing. They just had to say enough in court to bound Daybell, to keep him in jail because there were dead children found in his backyard. So they just had to prove just enough, But then I don't understand. This is where I need Jason. I'm coming. Here I am, direct today. Hey, babe, you heard me calling. This is where you come in to help, and because I don't get legalese. I do, but I don't. So preliminary hearing, and then so why'd they have to have the 2 grand juries to indict both of them? Or I don't understand that either. You're good, Lee. Here. You're good here, Lee. Hey, Jason. I miss you. Come pick me up. Just come get me. Or just come over. Let's see. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, I have been putting these documents together and I just saved them. And it has about the first creation, second creation. All the way up to the 8th creation, right? It's not Chad and Lori's own beliefs. Again, I'm going to say it till I die or till everybody hears me. It's really not good stuff though, Irene. It's like a plunger bringing up old shit, but it's important. I get what you're saying. I didn't have my snap today. Like yesterday I was, but, I really do think that I'm going to put something. I want to, if I got to make it into different videos and make it to where it's one big long movie of how I see it playing and how I see it, the things working in with the other things and how this came to be. So I want to do something, I guess, maybe y'all can help me out. Because this is a task. It's right. And I hate that I have to dumb it down for people. I don't want to dumb it down whenever I'm explaining it to a reporter, I want to be like, slam, this is it. Take it or leave it. Are you going to report the truth or not? So I just really think this should start with like Jason, Melanie Gibb, and Chad. And I'm not Chad, like-minded people, Jason, Melanie, Lori, because you're a gatherer. And it's like, I need clips from it's hard to collect clips and then keep track of them. Because then there's if I can, I'm not an organized person though. So I could do it in an organized way. What, Jason? What? Sorry to hear what? Oh God. You okay? What did Summer say to me today? She just offered her condolences and stay hydrated, Jason. Boy, it is draining. It's so draining. Accepting you here? Are you kidding me? I can't believe that's a thing, I don't want to say you're welcome because you're always welcome, always. Just I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're all here. You are just part of the family, The truth is, I need my nurse. Well, don't let her bathe you. I'll kick her ass. I know. Haha. He means me. Soon, babe. I hope. I hope. I hope. I hope. It's important. I think it's important too, but it is mind numbing. Y'all know. But, and it's so complex. I really do think that once me and Grammy B from NC, I really think that once we're able to put maybe and exchange notes and just kind of, it'll help give a better perspective of this thing, because it's again, not isolated to just, Rexburg, Idaho, all the way down to Arizona. It's much bigger. And these, they're silenced. They're told that they're mental. They're not acknowledged, if abuse happens, or that's if they live to tell, like Tylee. She's not here to live to tell. How was Lori today in court? She was happy when she saw her sister. And so it was Jeff, which is Summer's husband, and then Summer, and then their cousin Christy or Christine. I couldn't hear, but Tylee looked a lot like her. I was like, whoa, I told Summer that I was like, I think it's the second anointing. And she was like, and I can see how you get there. And I was just like, I mean, I'd already shut the door, because I knew, but it still tells you just how much they defend the church. They defend their daughter, or there's, what I mean? They defend Lori hand in hand, like-minded behaviors. But I feel like there's other people doing important work. And so we do feel so isolated and alone. Like when Grammy B said that, I was, or is it Grammy B and NC, or am I saying that wrong? Anyways, but you're like, where can I go with this? Who's going to believe me? I have no way of proving it. I just have been working the theories. It's the only thing that makes sense, and it's just, if the church would have never interjected, let's just say it, it's just the beginning. Don't tell me that, Trace, unless you're going to be here for till the end. But like, I just don't. I know it's just so, it's a stigma, and you are isolated, you're alone, you don't know where, you figured it out in your mind, but you're like, where the hell do I go with this? And then you go up the ladder, and then you're like, yeah, no, can't trust them. Nope. You can't trust nobody until like-minded people, right? So, yes. We have a wonderful mods, and we always have, I've been wanting to ask Donna. I've always admired Donna. She's just, she's sweet. She has experience in the cult-like mentality and all that stuff. And Beach Bum, love Beach Bum. Beach Bum is always here, just like Trace on the case. She's my favorite AZ Bianch. So, I mean, it's just things happen the way that they're supposed to. It was like a spirit of my heart. I'm being sarcastic, but anyways, it sucks the way I found out, but one day I'll get to tell everybody everything, She does rock the wrench. They all do. Y'all all rock, everybody. Yeah, this is a good community. Really. I mean, there's not a lot of drama. Sometimes there is, sometimes we can read things out of context. I used to be the worst, but I'm like, wait, maybe they didn't mean it that way. Maybe this way. You know, it's hard to type in 250 characters or less when you're talking about your thoughts and these people. I'm glad that y'all are part of this community. Something I never expected, and it's something I always appreciate. Y'all ground me, y'all center me. Just going back and forth for that. This is my therapy. This is my therapy. So I really do appreciate every one of you. Thank you for that. My prayers are for your family, dear. Thank you. So many weirdos here or the case or out there. We're everywhere. But thank y'all for being here. Another longing, but it's like, I don't know why I never did it before. I probably always wanted to, but just to compare their damn testimonies. And so here they're saying, you know, yeah, it's we all go to the church, we all believe in the same church, we all go to the same thing. The only thing they distanced themselves from was the books, Chad's books. Just like the only thing different in this, but it's still the same thing, is zombie. Oh, I love KJ. Yeah, we love us, the Church of KJ. Right? So I'm glad you're here too. Yeah, you're always welcome, you know, always. Nothing's expected. Just I'm honored that, you know, you guys hang out with me. So I've learned so much from y'all too. It's what it's all about. That's what a community does, right? And without all these little pieces and insight, and there's no way that one person or two people, or you know what I mean, can think of all these things. And so it's really cool because whatever, you know, you watch something, or let's say we showed something and you're like, wait, but this and this happened. You're like, oh yeah. So I love y'all too. If you ever get to come down under, you're all welcome. I'll meet you at the airport. You can pick me out. You can pick me out. I'll be the old duck with the blonde wig, blue glasses, and a t-shirt saying, I can't recall. One time in her life. Right. Well, say hi to Ping for us. No, there's a guy named Ping, the router, that also lives in Australia. And so for everybody here from all around the world, just thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, that was dumb. Yes. I feel that, Gemma. People who expose the truth are always marginalized and attacked. It's a calling? Calling. Wow. It's nuts, huh? It picks you. You don't pick it. But anyways, well, I'm going to say good night. And again, thank y'all. You're going to go be with KJ in the morning. I'll try and tweet out as much as I can. I have a kick-ass portable charger, so I can keep this phone charged, so I know my tweets don't make sense because I'm just like, I don't know what they say, you know. He said geo, and I didn't know what he said like twice, and it's geofencing, but anyways, I couldn't understand. Either way, or I can focus just on Lori. You know, I remember KJ saying something about that in her live, and she was like, you know, we wish there was a focus on, as these things are happening, what is she reacting? How are the jurors reacting? And then you see the sketch artist, you know. But anyway, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let me know. Love you guys. And love always wins. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Pray for the jurors. Pray for the prosecution. And just pray for a fair trial. I don't know. There's an elephant loose. The whole thing's been shaking the whole damn time. Dilemma? Kidding. Anyways, love you guys. I'm going to call my honey. Good night.